One Donut Podcast. The views and opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Two Cops One Donut, its host, or affiliates. The podcast is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. We do not endorse any guests' opinions or actions discussed during the show. Any content provided by guests is of their own volition, and listeners are encouraged to form their own opinions. Furthermore, some content is graphic and has harsh language. Viewer discretion advised and is intended for mature audiences. Two Cops, One Donut and its host do not accept any liability for statements or actions taken by guests. Thank you for listening. All right, welcome back. Eric Levine, Two Cops, One Donut. I'm here with my co-host, Banning Sweatland. How are you, Banning?
I'm doing great, brother. How you doing?
Oh, every time I hear that deep bass in your voice, I do a lot better, sir. And then we have also with us, with the Two Cops, One Donut now, I think actually tonight, Matt, we might as well make some announcements out here. But we got Matt Thornton with us, Detective Matt Thornton. How you doing, buddy?
Good. Glad to be here.
Excellent. And with us, our special guest tonight is Lieutenant Eric McCants. We're not going to say his agency or anything like that. You know how we roll. But he is a lieutenant, and he is a deputy sheriff, I believe. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How you doing?
Doing wonderful. His Wi-Fi is a little weird. It kind of makes him glitchy, but his audio and everything else is just fine, guys. So we're just gonna fucking power through and deal with what we got.
We'll fix it by next time.
I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Holidays are here, and everybody knows in law enforcement that with these holidays and whatnot, there's a lot of crazy shit that happens. So I want to kind of give a short story of something that happened the other night. We had a triple shooting on Thanksgiving night. And I'm like, holy shit. That's, that in itself is crazy, right? Having a triple shooting. So I'm telling my guys, hey, just start heading that way. Let's start helping out in any way we can. It wasn't in our area, but let's go help. And then the details update. And they, without getting into the integrity of a case, basically, they shot each other. There was no outstanding person. They all shot each other, which was caught on camera. So that's how we know. But I've worked a lot of cases and seen a lot of calls. That's the first time I've ever had a triple shooting where they all shot each other. It was insane. It's like that. What's that movie where they're all in the elevator and they all realize that they're all like against each other? And then is that 21 or something like that?
I know the scene you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And then the elevator opens up and they look down and they're like, what the fuck just happened? Yeah. So I assume that's kind of how this one was as well. But hello, S.J. Gavinger. I haven't seen that name up here. He said, hello, Matt from Florida.
What's up?
Matt's going to get all the people tonight. His YouTube channel is insane. McCants has a huge LinkedIn crowd. He's rolling. McCants, what are you rolling around? 50 grand? You got about 50,000 people on your LinkedIn?
Yeah, I got 65 followers. I think the limit on connection is like 30,000. I reached that limit.
Okay. Yeah. So you're floating around 55, 60,000 followers. And then Banning is around 30,000. And then we got Matt, who's sitting at like $500,000 on YouTube.
I have no idea why.
Crazy. I don't know why either, man. It's crazy. No, I know exactly why, dude. You're the whole reason. You're one of the reasons we pulled you over here. For those that don't know, Two Cops, One Donut, one of the things that we're trying to represent is we're not an echo chamber. We're not sitting here blowing cops and saying that cops do no wrong. We do screw up. And we need to call that out. And we need to say when cops do bad stuff. Like, that is part of the point. But we also need to point out the good stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff that cops are doing. So we want to highlight both. But the main purpose is education. We want you to learn from the bad cops, but we also want you to learn from the good cops. Here's what they're doing good, and here's why it is. So, we post stuff. We have our messages and whatnot, and kind of the goal, one of the things that we want to start doing on here is we're going to have guys like Banning, guys like Matt, make points, make reaction videos where we see something. We're like, hey, here's why this was good. Here's why it was bad. I've had a lot of people hit me up. You should be training cops. I do train cops. It's kind of what I do. It's kind of one of the things about this podcast. We're trying to train other cops. We're not trying to placate to the community and say, like, you need to back up cops because this is what they're doing. No, just giving you perspective. You can call bullshit if you want to call bullshit. That's kind of the fun. Is you can look and hear what Matt has to say and be like, nah, he's full of shit. And then say so and say why. Or you can hear something I say and be like, nah, that's spot on. Like, yeah, that's how it should be. And then we can have those discussions. But the point is that we're talking. We're not coming on here and shutting down speech and telling people that, you know, they're wrong and we don't want to hear the other side. So that's kind of the point. A little heavy for Eric to walk into. Eric's like, what the fuck did I just walk into? But I'm totally putting all my cards out on the table, though. I'm hoping I can groom in a non-sexual way Eric into wanting to be a part of what we're doing, because he does represent a side of the country that we don't have represented over here. He's kind of a Southeast guy. We don't have any Southeast coverage on the podcast. So we got Matt up in the Illinois, Chicago area, which is sorry, bro. Sorry. You got you got what you got. It's cold, right? Me and Banny are both Texas boys, but I'm from Flint, Michigan originally, so I got a little bit of connection with Matt as far as culture and policing goes. I'm originally from Flint. That's where I was born and raised for quite a long time. But enough about me, enough of my voice. First off, let's get into Eric. Eric, give people your background. Let people know where you're from, what you're doing, and why you're on here tonight.
Well, I'm from Augusta, Georgia. I've been here my whole life. Like I said, I started off like everybody else, played sports in school. My mother was a little different. She had me playing the violin and trumpet. As a bigger guy, I felt that I didn't need to play the violin, but I continued on with it. In high school, I played football and I did wrestling. I feel like wrestling was my best sport. I enjoyed it, just going one-on-one against other people. During that time period, my cousin moved up from Alabama. He was a martial arts instructor. I started taking karate when I was about 16, and up to now, I'm a 5th degree black belt. Went off to college. I was 17. It was a little bit too much for me. I partied too much, got kicked out. Ended up working at a local grocery store. My mother said, find a job. Just happened to see a police brochure with an officer talking to another person. Signed up, and I've been in law enforcement ever since.
Excellent. I like it, man. What do you mean you're too big to play the violin, man?
Well, my brother's not bigger than me, but my brother was actually good at it. Like, he went to a full scholarship for playing the violin. He went to Maryville, Tennessee. He went to college up there. It's just, for me, I just felt like I'm too big to be playing the violin. That's just how I felt. I say something about it. I say nothing against people playing violin, nothing wrong with people being big and all that stuff. But for me, I just felt like, okay, that's not fair. Now, trumpet,
yeah,
that's okay. You could do a little bit better with that. But violin, it was just
Eric was up there. He actually had a cello. You didn't know that. It was like the one that stands up.
Well, my sister played.
It looked like a violin.
Yeah, so man, it was crazy. But yeah, people used to pick on me. They're like, why are you so big and got a violin on the bus? I'm like, man, you can get smacked with it, but it is what it is.
So that's why you became a cop, because you was picked on in school.
Something like that. I say
that's the rule, right? Now you get to go out and have your revenge. That's why you became a cop, because you was bullied. Oh man, I will tell people, I didn't have a hard time in school. I wasn't popular by any means. I don't want to say I was like the alpha walking around, but I played sports and I've always had my sense of humor. So I kind of got along with everybody. But I think one of the reasons why I wanted to become a cop is because I didn't like seeing people get bullied. I was kind of, I had a good enough reputation that if I saw somebody bullying, I could roast them and make, kind of go at them for trying to pick on somebody. And that kind of gave me my social skill set, I guess, growing up. I'd see somebody picking on somebody and then I would instantly not come to their defense like I'm trying to mother hen them, but I would start roasting the person that's picking on people because it would bug me. So that's kind of how I started up in the game of being the anti-bully, and I think that's kind of what we do as police. We try to be the anti-bully. I hope that's what we're doing as police. But I do think there are some merits to people saying, oh, you were picked on in school. Do some of those get through the cracks? I think they do.
Oh yeah.
I think we see it for sure. But so tonight, I'm sorry. Somebody's got to host this, guys, and it's usually me. So if you get tired of my voice, I apologize for those that are new listeners. Because when we do these, there's a delay. There's, Banning and everybody else is hearing me at a slightly different time, and to try not to talk over each other, somebody's got to kind of run the ship. So I'm going to run the ship tonight, as I usually do, but I will call on everybody as we go. So if you're new to this, what we're going to do is we're going to watch body camera footage. And rather than Monday morning quarterback, which give me a second, I'll explain the Monday morning quarterbacking thing. Get it, Manning? Somebody hit the wrong button. And that's the fun part about being live. What we do on here is we watch body cam footage and we pretend as though we are the officers in the video. None of us have seen any of the videos that we're about to watch. And if we have, we're going to own up to it and be like, all right, I'm going to bow out and let everybody else talk because I've already seen this video. And that's the fun. We haven't seen it. We don't know what's going to happen. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pretend we're the cops in the videos and give you perspective on how the differences in law enforcement are in our training across the country and the way that we do it. We all kind of have the same goal, but we can all get there a little different. And then my favorite part is for you guys to ask questions, chime in, and we're going to get to your questions and all of that stuff in the chat because what we do may not make sense to you. Well, how are we supposed to ever bridge a gap with the community that we're supposed to be serving if you don't understand why we do what we do? So that's the point. We want you to understand why we do what we do. And if you have a different approach to it as a civilian or as another cop somewhere else in the nation, we'd love to hear it. Our conversation may be the catalyst to starting a change in a law enforcement training that we had never considered. If you're a glass that's full, like that, this is not the place for you. But if you're willing to be objective and talk and have a glass half full kind of mentality where we can learn from each other, that's kind of what we're looking for here. Is it an optimistic point of view that's not really something we have in law enforcement these days? Law enforcement's very cynical. Yeah, I'm an optimistic person. I'm wired different, and I acknowledge that. So I do kind of have a rainbows and lollipops look at the world. But that is what it is. This is what I do. We got Ghost Patch in the house. Speaking of, before we get to the meat and potatoes of what we're doing, the show, what we do costs money. And we're finally, and then when I say finally, like today's the first day ever that we've officially have merchandise. So I want you guys to go to ghostpatch.com and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. We finally have our own merchandise. So I'm going to share that right now as a shameless plug for our own stuff. And let me show you what I'm talking about here. As you go to ghostpatch.com, you'll see we're going to have one more thing. I think we have some sewn-on patches and coins, actually. But right here, if you see where my mouse at, that's a rubberized PVC Velcro patch. And then this right here is an actual metal badge that you can get to help support the Two Cops One Donut show. So we have these and we have the PVC patches, and that's the last you're going to hear about this from me, guys. So now that we've shown you that, I'm going to stop sharing because it's not why you guys came here anyway. But yeah, if you like what we do and you support what we're doing, that will help us. So appreciate it. And then let's go to the comments real quick. Let's see who's out and about. We've got Greg Eliason, one of my moderators. He said, look at Eric using catalyst in a sentence. I use some big words every once in a while. Little house, big chores. 14 years clean and sober. My life was saved by a hero in my town. That's amazing, brother.
I love it. I love that.
I hope you keep that journey up, man. It's very cool. Let me see. I'm reading. Hiram Figueroa Jr., thank you for your service, sir. From Nina. And then Marine Blood in the house. $49. I'm too poor for that. Bro, I know you waste that much money in liquor. You'd be fine. Just don't get a bottle. Just don't get some whiskey this month. You'd be good. That isn't cheap, but you can definitely get a PVC patch, bro. It's $10. $10. You'd be good. So with that said, holidays just went through. Matt, what happened on your holidays, buddy?
Oh, I didn't do much. I watched, I watched our football coach get canned up here.
Oh.
What else? I ate a lot of bad foods.
You mean when the Lions kicked your ass?
Yeah, when we still got a timeout. He still got the timeout in his pocket there.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
it's not a fun day for me.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I was, elated, sir.
Yeah,
I was elated. I am a Detroit Lions fan. At least you guys have been to the Super Bowl. The Lions had never been.
Yeah, I guess I was in 5th grade for that. I remember that like it was yesterday. It's sad that I got to revert back to talking about when I was in 5th grade.
Hey,
I had a happy football moment.
Cowboy fans here in Texas do the same thing. Well, back in the early 90s, we went to 3 of them.
Cowboys fans, Jesus.
Oh, man,
they are rough.
The country of Texas.
I know. Hey, just if you guys need to know about good dog training, go to Atlanta. Atlanta Falcons have been notorious for their dog training program. McCants like, you motherfucker, bringing up Michael Vick. Why you got to bring up old shit?
I'm actually a Falcons fan. I go for Baltimore, but we've been sucking too, so I don't know what we got going on right now.
You a Baltimore fan and an Atlanta fan?
No, I'm not an Atlanta fan. I've always been a Baltimore fan.
You're from Georgia.
Defense. Always been defense. It's always been Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. It's always been just how I am.
Jeez. Okay, Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis could motivate a nun to rob a liquor store.
They do got to get your people ready.
I know. I know. Like, I could listen to motivational speeches from Ray Lewis all day long.
That was the second best defense of all time behind the 85 Bears.
If you look it up, the Ravens 2000 defense is the best defense ever.
That was phenomenal to watch.
Okay, let's go to some questions. We haven't even got to the videos yet. Flashback, he said, how do you solve the issue of bad cops leaving a department while under investigation and then getting hired at a neighboring town? I'll start it off by saying, usually when that happens, the investigation, which none of us follow up on. We hear the allegations, we hear what it is, what it involves. How often do we follow up on it? If they end up getting hired at another agency, I would say 80% of the time, and I'm just spitballing here, 80% of the time, it's because that allegation was unfounded and the department was getting rid of them to cover their own ass. So they get picked up by another agency. Now, there is that 20% where the allegations were founded and they get through the cracks. How do we stop that? Well, I think one way to stop that is by creating a federal registration. If a cop is found to be Brady listed, for instance, that needs to not just be a localized thing, because that's what it is. It's not federalized. It's localized. So they'll be Brady listed at their agency or in their county, but you don't see
district.
that. What's that, Banning?
In their district.
Yeah, in their district. So you won't see that anywhere else. We need to create some sort of federal registration. So when you fuck up as a cop and it's founded, like the investigation's done, it's over with, you need to be put on something. But Eric, what do you think, man?
Well, honestly, I say it's got to be a better investigation by the department they're going to. But like I say, it also depends on what they did. Like I say, what you might find bad at one agency is not going to be considered bad at the other. Like I know if you wreck a couple of cars at some agencies are just going to go ahead and do away with you. At other agency, they might send you back through EVOC and different things like that. So it just depends on what the incident was or the problem that occurred or what they were doing. I know, like for me, when I first started in law enforcement, I was real bad at writing reports. I got wrote up for it a lot of times. I got wrote up for speeding and different things like that. I mean, but it follows me wherever I go. Some agency put up with it. And they'll be like, okay, well, we'll send you through these different training to help you get trained better. Other agencies be like, okay, well, we don't want to hire you because of that stuff. So it all depends on the incident that occurred. And then also it depends on whether that department did a full investigation. Like I say, they might put certain things in your folder when you transfer over, and then they might not. So it's just on the agency to do an in-depth investigation on your background before they hire you. But sometimes you're not going to know. Like I said, the officer might be clean. He might be a good officer, but you never know what they got in their head until they get to your agency, and then they go off tilt. So you just never know.
Yeah. Banning, what do you got, man?
We just had a legislative update, I believe, on this, and I'll have to go back and read it to quote it. But in Texas, the way they're doing the hiring now, and if you're under a serious investigation, they're not releasing that license under the hiring policy of the new agency. With the new law now, the new agency must get on what's called TCLEDs here in Texas and look at the records of that incoming possible recruit or new officer. And if they're under investigation, it's supposed to be paused or on hold until that investigation is complete by the current agency that he's employed by. Now, if that's being followed, or I may have read it wrong, I'll have to go pull it and read it after this live and look. But Texas is trying to fix that problem for those that know it, how Texas operates on it.
Yeah, Matt, what do you got, man?
I think there's, if I can piggyback off what Lieutenant was saying, I think there's a distinct difference between an officer that needs to improve his performance, and then there's that line where it's rights violations and violent behavior that's blacklisted. Have to have some national type of registry.
Yeah.
I believe don't doctors have it? Don't other occupations have it? I mean, you lose your license, and it should be a done deal, be a wrap. You should never do this again.
Yep, I agree. I also would say that we need to have, because I just recently learned this about the Brady list. Sometimes cops get made into a political martyr for the Brady list, and I didn't realize that was a thing. I mean, in retrospect, hearing it, I'm like, oh, Levine, you probably should know that. Like, you've been around the block, but I didn't realize that. So there needs to be some sort of third-party appeals process. So if you do get blacklisted in a way, if we have a national registry for things like that, I do think you need to be able to have some sort of third party that can look at it and say, okay, we're an outside agency on this. Let us look at all the facts and we'll come up with whatever it is we come up with, because you can get railroaded by a department. We've seen it. We've seen people get made into martyrs. But you can also get protected by a department. We've seen that where they've hidden stuff and do that. So I'm a big fan of, having some sort of third party federal agency, whatever it is. I'm not big government by any means, but we're talking about your law enforcement.
Full transparency. We've got to have full transparency period.
Yeah. I mean, how are we going to checks and balance our police force if they're only checks and balancing themselves? I just did an interview. You guys don't know this. Banning does know, but Matt and Eric, I just did an interview with a police monitor. It's the first time I've ever had a chance to sit down and talk to a police monitor. I've always kind of wondered what they did. I know that they get a lot of hate from cops because they're, at the surface level, their whole point is to like weed out bad cops. And so to them, they feel like they're on a witch hunt. So I got to actually sit down, talk, ask questions, and learned a lot. So I can't wait to put that episode out and tell you what her name is and all that stuff. But I haven't got the approval from her yet. So I sent her the episode so she could hear it. And then if she had any edits or anything, she's like, I can't say that, because she's still employed. So she doesn't want to get fired either.
Is she in law enforcement? Or she's
no, she's a civilian.
Yeah.
She's civilian. She used to she actually used to be a prosecutor, so she knows the law, which is, it's not a requirement for police monitors. But when we had our conversation, I saw how beneficial that was to have somebody that understood the law, understood how the criminal justice system kind of works, and you guys will see. It was actually one of my favorite recordings that we've done. So anyway, going through the comments, holy shit.
Dang.
Somebody just wrote a novel. Shit. I'm just going to read it. Fuck it. It's big. It's big. You guys are only going to see a portion of it, but I'm going to butcher your name, brother. I want Lawrence. I'm going to say Lawrence. I'm going to say what Lawrence said. He said, addressing the issue of officers with a history of misconduct moving from one department to another involves several strategies. Strengthening background checks, comprehensive investigations, implement, I lost my place because people started texting.
Thorough background checks that include reviews of prior employment and disciplinary records.
Thank you. Yeah, disciplinary records, any ongoing investigations, national database. I'm just going to go through his highlights. Transparency requirements, interdepartmental communication, absolutely. Regional oversight boards, agreed. Accountability mechanisms, standardized disciplinary procedures, ensure consistency. I'm sure that's what that was supposed to say. So absolutely, that's a great point. Citizen review boards of police officers have no power and hold an officer to hold an officer accountable. That's true. Nor should they. I don't believe that they should. I think they have to have a voice, just like anything. What we need to agree on is the people that have the authority. So let's say it falls back on just the chief, and people are going to be like, well, the chief's going to protect his person. Well, not necessarily. If your chief was hired from out of state, hired from a different place, if they didn't grow up in that department, like they're still beholden to the mayor and the city council and all that stuff. So I don't think that not having the chief be the sole voice is necessarily a bad thing, but that's why you have if your police monitor and your citizen review board are all against on something and they're going against, and the chief goes against that, like now you've got an argument, got a fair argument. But I think having those conversations is just the important part. So maximum 3 lawsuit violations ending in payout voids the ability to hold a police officer position. I can see that. What do you got, Matt? You look like you got something to say.
I mean, it's a little broad. I'd say one. It just depends. You could have one horrible one that you're like, dude, you should never have a badge again. So
right, yeah. And then you get guys that they're chasing a bad guy in their car, like kind of what Eric was saying, and they hydroplane. They weren't intending to hydroplane, and now you've got an accident on your under your belt, and that can happen 3 times in a week. That would suck for that officer that didn't have an opportunity to fix something that's fixable. I guess that's what it really goes into. Is this something we can recover from, or is it something we can't recover from? You shoot the wrong person, we're not recovering from that.
Yeah, severity.
Yeah, severity, exactly. Your gun's in its holster, and as you're tackling somebody, a stick somehow wedges its way in there, and the gun goes off and hits somebody else. Well, and that's an extreme. I know that's an extreme, guys, but I'm just giving an example of some shit that could go wrong, that has gone wrong. That's happened before. Somebody's gun has gone off in their holster because something wedged itself into the holster. So do you hold that cop accountable for that? So it's just kind of maximum criminal. I'm trying to read. Right. Maximum criminal 3, if not less. Salty Grandpa. I like the name. Grampy. You are beholden to the public. Yep.
Amen.
Yeah, we serve the public.
I don't think anybody on this panel is going to disagree with that. Marine Blood said not just chiefs. Agreed. You got one of the differences that people may not know too is the difference between sheriffs and chiefs. The sheriff is an elected position, which is what Sweatland and McCants both work for, is elected people. Where me, Matt, you're a city, right?
Yep.
Okay, so us for a city, we have a chief who's beholden to the city mayor, and then he's got a city manager, and then he also has a city council. So they're kind of like pulled in a bunch of different ways. So me personally, even though I work for a chief, I think a sheriff would be fucking awesome to work for. You don't get paid very well. Right, Banning?
That could be a whole podcast.
Yeah, I know, right? But, okay. So Michelle or Micah just came in and said, sorry, I'm late. No apologies needed. Appreciate you being here. All right. What we're going to do, we're going to pull up some video. We're going to pull up the first one. Have not seen it. Don't know what it's about, but you guys are going to kind of get the idea, and we're going to just watch it, listen, and we're going to chime in and kind of go from there. And you guys make sure you chime in with us. We're right about the 30-minute mark. We like to warm up with some bullshit and talking and seeing how everybody's doing. But yeah, we're going to keep going from here. So let me share the screen. Share. First and foremost, shout out to Code Blue Cam on YouTube. That's who we got this video from. So if you can see my mouse, make sure you guys follow them. Code Blue Cam, police activity, and I can't remember what the other one is off the top of my head, but that's where we get all our videos tonight. So I'm going to hit play.
On the evening of November 17th, 2024, police were dispatched to investigate the report of a disturbance outside a local apartment complex in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Witnesses described a 55-year-old woman shouting and threatening bystanders. As the situation escalated, she allegedly approached an individual and directed racist remarks toward them. Once police finally arrived, she showed no hesitation in expressing her thoughts.
Cross police, what's the issue? So you don't have no family members left? What's going on? Racist? I'm talking to you about your family members. How is that racist?
Was she saying racial things?
Oh, no, I said.
I have a bunch of videos I can check, but it's somewhere along the lines of, did you see how red this country was?
Okay, everybody's saying it's echoing.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to figure what is echoing. He said, please mute the mics. So it may be somebody else echoing because my settings are normal. Let me figure it out, guys, while we troubleshoot this. Stand by. That's why it's live, and it is what it is. Let me get the chat off of here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute. Everybody's on headphones. Well, let me try. I think it is a YouTube recording. Let me try another video. You guys just tell me if it's echoing. Share this tab instead. I'm going to play a little bit. We're going to troubleshoot together. Let me know if it's echoing.
972, can we welcome more units to Church of Mandy?
Is it echoing to you guys?
Nope.
I didn't hear it.
Okay.
Okay, so nobody heard an echo? Okay, cool. We'll go to this video then. It may have been just that video. Oh, I know. Okay, so let's go. Body cam video, for those that don't know, usually is muted 30 seconds prior to it being hit to record, sometimes 60 seconds. So right now, he hasn't actually hit record yet. So this guy looks hyped up, walking in the white, pointing and... Okay. So from what we see right here so far, Eric, how are you handling this guy walking up?
Well, first of all, I'm gonna give him some verbal commands, but he's not gonna walk that close to me, especially in that type of body posture. That's one thing we look for when we're dealing with subjects is body posture. He's already in an aggressive manner. I'm not sure what he's upset about, but he's upset about something, and he's making his way towards law enforcement, pointing and all that stuff. And like I say, he has a bag also. Granted, his hand's not in the bag, but you like I tell people, I always want to see your hands. Keep your hands up. I say I'll try to calm it down, but like I say, you're not going to come in that bubble with me. But like I say, within 2 to 3 feet or so, I don't like people being within that close to me.
Yeah.
I say, I like you back up, sir. Just let me know what's going on, what's upsetting you. Did somebody do something to you? But we're not going to sit here and shout in front of other people. But like I say, that causes problems. Do you have more people involved in the situation? But him walking up there aggressively on me, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. And I appreciate you calling his purse a bag. Like I bet he would agree with that.
It's Gucci though.
But it is Gucci. But where I grew up, that's a purse. Matt, what do you got, buddy?
Same thing. He's obviously upset. So you know your distance, you know your spacing, and you just look and see what he has. He's in a very aggressive posture. So I probably would just verbal commands. Hey, chill out, man. And just keep some space.
I was going to say, I'm going to personally try to keep space without having to put my hands on him. And I'm just going to stand there and force myself to have to put hands on him because I didn't move. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of space here. We're on a corner of a street. So seeing him coming, like, I'm going to be cool. Like, and just be, hey, bro, like, relax. But my hand's going to be out. I'm not going to allow you to get in that bubble. Banning, what do you got?
I'm just going to keep talking to him quietly, but I mean, obviously he's raising his voice. We can't hear yet because of that 30-second mute that you were talking about. He's obviously irate. Yeah, yelling back at the guy is not going to make this thing any better. Same thing with the bag, purse, whatever you want to call it, container. Yeah, we're gonna be safe. And there's obviously other civilians here in the street and other officers, but if we need to take it back some and talk to him, figure out what the deal is, and hopefully calm him down.
Yeah. Alan, our behind the scenes guy, he said nobody's walking up to Big Red like that. That's true. For those that don't know, we got a new nickname for Banning in the last live that we did. And I found out exactly who Banning reminded me of. So I want to share that with you guys to see if you think the same thing. Because Banning is a large, imposing man just in itself. So I'm going to share this real quick. And you tell me if you guys get the same vibe off of Banning. Yukon Cornelius, baby. Did I nail it? Was that
Yeah.
it?
You got him.
I mean, even equipped with a 6-shooter. So, all right, let's go back. So, for those listening, can an officer put his hands on this person right now? Yes, absolutely.
He's in that reactionary gap.
Yep, you can create a reactionary gap. I can push you back. It doesn't mean I'm going to use physical force like beating the shit out of you. That's not what we're saying. But what I am saying is I can create or keep and maintain a distance from you based on your body language. I'm absolutely within my right to do that as an officer. Brad Dorr said, big sexy times 2. I like it. All right, let's keep going. All right. My man just bitch slapped, pimp slapped, whatever you want to call him, kept his pimp ham strong against this officer's face. Okay, right, wrong, indifferent on the officer for allowing that to happen. But from here, Eric, what you got, man?
After he strikes me, he's going down to the ground, and then he's going to be putting handcuffs from there. And then, like I said, then from there we could talk and figure out what's going on. Like I said, it could have been something that drove him that way. Could be drugs. Could have been somebody just did something to him, stole something. But like I said, you're not going to come up there and put your hands on me. So if he gets that close and he's able to put his hands on me, I say we're going to go ahead and put him in handcuffs. One way or other, how that goes, he's going to handcuffs. Like I said, he literally just struck an officer. So wherever the issue is, we'll deal with that afterwards. But right now, like I said, for us, that's obstruction right there. So that's a charge to go to jail right there. So he put his hands,
assault on a public officer.
He's going to do, like I say. So if you want to use your taser, if you want to utilize it, like I tell people all the time, I like to say, some people have different body sizes. I know officers that weigh 130 pounds. I know officers that are 340 pounds. I know officers that do jiu-jitsu, karate. I know officers that have no training, have never been in fights in their life. So you got to determine what's best for you. Like I say, everybody's not going to sit there and try to go hands-on because everybody's not, good like that. Like I say, he might be bigger than certain individuals. So if you need to utilize your taser, pull it out, tell him that you're going to get tased. If you don't continue, he might comply. Just figure that part. But one way or the other, he's going to handcuffs.
Yeah. Renetta Williams said, just back up. Like that's what he should have done at the beginning. That's what I would have done. I would have got offline. I never like backing straight up, but at least get offline from the guy. But I don't think this guy would have allowed you to back up or move away.
Yeah.
I think he was going to pursue you because he came up and just slapped the shit out of him. So, you can try to get offline. Would have been great. But now he's put his hands on him. What do you got, Banning?
Same thing. I mean, if he's going to do that to me as an officer there, I mean, you've got to stop to make sure no other officers, no other civilians get hurt in this, and then figure out what's going on. Regardless if it hurt or whatever. But if he's going to do that to somebody out on the street that happens to have a badge on, then, hey, it's time to take him to the ground. Let's neutralize the situation and then let him talk. Get him back up to his feet like a man, have him handcuffed there till we figure out what's going on and find out what the issue is.
Yeah. Renetta said, cops love using obstruction. All right, let's discuss that. Do we have an offense here, Renetta? I would say we do. You just struck a cop for zero fucking reason. So we have an offense. Nobody gets to slap you in the face for free. I don't care if you're a cop or not a cop. So if obstruction's the call, great. If, assault on a PO is the call, whatever you want to call it. I actually think obstruction is the lesser charge. So when cops...
Illinois would be act bad to a peace officer.
There. So a lot of times, I know me personally, and you guys tell me if you do the same. I kind of look at fighting with bad guys as part of the job. Mm-hmm. So I'm only ever putting the felony assault on a police officer if you really, really had it coming. Like if I almost freaking die. But in this instance, from what I see right now, like, is what it is. Like I'm going to put that you assaulted me, but I'm not going to put on, a peace officer, which is going to up that charge. Not yet, not from what I see. So the obstruction thing is, it does catch a lot, but is it justified? That's really what I care about. I don't care if it's a catch-all. Is it justified? If it's justified, we really don't have an argument. So, and we're looking at the big picture on this. Big picture is you shouldn't be walking around assaulting cops that are just standing there minding their own business. I don't really see anybody arguing with that.
No.
So anyway, now from here, how would I handle this call? If I'm the person in the body camera, if I'm the partner, it looks like this is a partner's video. Now it's game on. You just hit my boy. So now I'm going in for the 2-leg, whatever it is. I'm taking you down. I am not, as Eric was getting to, I am very confident in my ground fighting ability and my takedowns and all that stuff. I've done jiu-jitsu since 2006. I'm a firm believer that every cop should at least become a blue belt in grappling of some sort. Legitimate grappling experience over 2 years. Like, you need to do that consistently. That's just me. And only because I've seen the fruits of that labor. I think when you learn grappling, your use of forces go way down. You actually use less force by knowing how to use more force. It's kind of a weird way to think of it. But in this instance, I'm going to take this person to the ground. I'm not going to rely on my Batman belt. I'm not going taser. Just, this is for me. Take him down to the ground. Hope that my partner is trying to figure out what the fuck just happened to him, because that's probably what's going on in his head. Like, did this dude just smack the shit out of me? And we're going to get him in cuffs and take a breath and then be like, dude, WTF? Like, what? You just slapped the shit out of me. So, all right, let's keep going.
9-7, can we move more units to Church of Maine?
Back up!
We need more units to Church of Maine.
All right, I immediately have a problem. And I'm not going to say it yet. I'm going to let our guest, Eric. Eric, what do you think?
Well, the partner, I mean, I'm glad she's calling for backup, but at the end of the day, you got to go ahead and get engaged in that fight. I say, you got to get in there. I say, most time when things like this happen, and I tell my guys all the time, if I'm going to the front of him, I want you to work your way around back. I say, I have a partner that I work with named Vanshay Felton. He's bigger than me. He knows if I'm about to go hands on, he's going to do that slow walk around you because he knows what's about to happen. So if I can't get him in the front, he's going to get him in the back. But you can't call people on the radio, but okay, we got a fight in progress. Get here now. Leave it at that. But you better go ahead and get in that fight. He's really just walking up on this officer, making the officer back up, and you're further away from the incident than where you were before. I said, you can't let that happen. I say, for what reason or another, I don't know the reason, but like I said, you got to get engaged in that fight. You got to go ahead and get this problem situated. Like I said, I don't know if that's a third officer right there or not, but at least he's trying something. I think he has OC spurt or something, but I couldn't tell. But from where she's at, that sounds like a female. You got to go ahead and get engaged in that fight. You can't just sit there and let him try to handle that situation by himself. Like Craig Myers always says, you want to plus up on the situation. If it's one person, you want to have 2 people. If it's 3 people, you want to have 4 people. You want to plus up on him. You want to overwhelm him, get the situation under control, then you start talking.
Yeah. Let's talk about Dirtbag said she needs to be slapped awake and get involved.
Is that another officer with it, body cam, or is that Howard Cosell just calling the play? Seriously, it looks like she's backing up almost.
Yeah, I would have
to talk after
that dude.
Yeah, we definitely gonna have a talk. Like, you just stood by and let me get bitch slapped and didn't do a damn thing. Like, I don't need you. And listen, this isn't a female thing. I've been with male officers that, you know, they're 120 pounds soaking wet. I just need you to distract. Like, we'll handle business, but I just need you to do something. Doing nothing causes me to be alone. But Banning, what do you got, man? Oh, hold on, Banning. Your mic
is better there? Is that
yeah, there you go. You were muted for a second.
It's the same exact thing. I mean, unfortunately, this is going a little too far, and it's got to be stopped immediately. Not a show of force or, you know, anything negative, but something is going on here. We've got to stop his movement before he hurts somebody, and then we can figure out what's going on. Period. Like you said, I mean, as it was blatantly obvious in the video, he committed an assault. Now we've got to stop that. We've got to figure out what's going on. How do we get here? What caused this to happen?
Yeah. So from here, one of the things that we do is we talk about how we would handle the call from here. Okay, so if I'm the person in the body cam video, now I'm in a crossfire because I think he has his taser out. That's what it looks like to me. Like, he's got the taser up. So I'm gonna get kind of in that offset L, and then wait for that taser deployment. And as soon as he goes down, then I'm gonna go into handcuffing. Because while that taser's going off you get that NMI, neuromuscular incapacitation, Yes, you can touch the bad guy. You know what's funny is the citizens listen out there. I don't expect you to know this, but yes, I can touch the human body while they're being electrocuted by a taser. It doesn't affect me. It's only the person that the probes are in, or if you touch the leads. So there's a lot of cops that don't even understand that, and they've been trained in tasers. They wait for the taser to stop, which is 5 seconds, by the way. So people know it's a 5-second ride. And the moment it stops, they're fully recovered. There's no pain afterwards. It just stops, and they can fight again. So when the taser goes off, and as long as you got that NMI, that neuromuscular incapacitation, I want to get the hands behind their back as quickly as I can, and then we'll start working on cuffing. Which usually takes about the 5 seconds for your body to register, oh, he just got tased, and then, oh, he went to the ground. Okay, let's move in. Like there is a delay in that. Salty Grampy, which is an awesome name, by the way. Salty Grampy, I love it. Problem is we don't know what the cops said before the audio. Well, this guy walked all the way down the street. And I would go as far to argue as it doesn't matter what he said. Does it matter what he said? Does that give you the right to put your hands on somebody? Anybody on the panel think that makes a difference?
No.
I mean, you think about Roadhouse. You know, what if he called my mama? What did he say? What if he called my mama a whore? Well, is she? You know, it doesn't matter what he said. It doesn't give you the right to come up and slap somebody in the face, whether they're in uniform or not. If he said something inappropriate that wasn't professional, okay, hold him accountable for that. Make a complaint. But it doesn't give you the right to go put your hands on him. So I don't think it matters what he said. If he said anything, we're guessing. We're speculating. This guy walked from bumfuck Egypt, you know, on the video from what we saw. He was well out of frame as he came up, just making all sorts of motions and whatnot. So it doesn't matter what he said. Doesn't give you the right to come up, put their hands on you. Chevy Volt, how they recharge their tasers. So from here, we'll see what happens. Okay, so somehow we got another officer involved because I still see, I think we just switched body cams.
Yeah, so it looks like it might be 4 officers.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck this dude is doing with this t-shirt. I'm going to go back just slightly so you can see the original view that we had was over here. And I think when we switch, you'll see another officer all of a sudden show up. Yeah. So the taser didn't work. What was that?
Let's say an OC spray or mace or something in his hand.
Yeah, I would guess he's a security or something.
Oh, yeah.
He bad if you spray him.
Yeah. He could be a non-cop, so to speak. Which where I am at, I think if you use one, you're not supposed to use the other.
Yeah.
There's one that's like alcohol based, or there's another base that could be a
flammable.
Yeah.
That was like the old school way. And I just think they've came up with a standardized policy that if you tase, you can't pepper spray. If you pepper spray, you can't tase. I don't know a department that has a different policy than that, but we're that's what we know, folks.
Fox ain't no joke now.
Yeah, right. So, but you can't do nothing about a security guy that decides to get involved in sprays without you being able to stop him. So, is what it is. Pepper spray should be no longer flammable. Should be. But you never know what old school person's out there still carrying around a can from the 1980s.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, I have never used this in my career. I'm going to use it before I go out. And they use it. And lo and behold, it's flammable. Yeah. So
that's horrible.
Yeah. Somebody said, Renetta, I'm just looking at by the way you speak, I question your mindset on duty. Okay. Sucks to suck, bro. We can't all agree. Dude is a no person. What does that mean, Mr. R. Boyd? I don't understand that. Dude is a no person. I don't get that. So let's keep going. Okay. Pepper spray is working because he does not want to face him anymore. The taser is not.
There's 2 tasers out there.
Yeah, we got 2 tasers out. For me, this is definitely my point that I'm going hands-on. If we haven't gone hands-on yet, this is where I'm going to go hands-on. I see that his hands are clear. He doesn't have a weapon in his hands. So let's take advantage of that. We know he doesn't have let's got to earn our paycheck. I mean, every once in a while as a cop, we don't have to do it that often, guys. But every once in a while, we got to earn our paycheck. So what do you got on this, Matt?
I was always a big fan of, okay, if you have a taser out, you got to have some hands-on.
Yeah.
And those things malfunction quite a bit. And just move in. It's like move in. And you got to consider he didn't. It was a slap. So the escalation and the tension level, just leave it. It was a slap. He didn't injure the cop. So let's go in and we get him. I would wrap him up, like you said. My philosophy is always just one high, one low. So I'm gonna get his legs. We'll wrap him up and arms behind the back. You have to do extras.
Yep, I agree. I'm going to the comments. Derek Murphy said, "Salty, I agree. If a person was in front of a cop saying, 'I'm going to beat the poo-poo out of you,' they would go hands-on, and it's okay. If they say it and a citizen goes hands-on, then it's bad. If they're in front of you, sure, because now you've got an articulable argument. Hey, not only did this random stranger walk up to me and say that they're going to beat the poo-poo out of me, as you say, they're able to do it. They have the time, distance, and capability. That's what we look at, time, distance, and capability of doing it. Are they close to me? Yes. Do they have the physical capability of doing it? Yes. Are they saying they're going to do it? Yes. But when you're walking from across the block, you do not have the time, the distance, or the capability to do that from across the way. So, doesn't matter what's being said. That's a poor argument. Listen, I'm all for holding cops accountable. You just don't have a leg to stand on in that argument. Doesn't matter what he's saying. It does not matter. But what are the odds that the cop is just standing there in public, in an intersection, yelling out, "Hey, I'm going to beat the shit out of you"? What are the odds of that? I'm going to say pretty freaking low.
Well, let's take the cop out of the equation. What if he came up and he just slapped another member of the public and was still charging at him, saying, "I'm going to F you up"?
Right.
You have to act. You act.
Exactly. And what would we do as cops? Full disclosure. We're probably going to put both of you in cuffs when we get there until we figure out the story. So no, there is this misconception that if a cop has a right to do it, I have the right to do it. That's not true. That is just not how it works. Cops have the right to do certain things that the public can't do. And that is part of one of the miscommunications we have with the public, is this idea that, well, if a cop can do it, I should be able to do it. That's not how it works. It's just not how it works. And there's a lot of things that y'all can do that cops can't do. Like, one, freedom of speech. Say whatever you want to say. Cops can't do that. And then when we do something, we have a litany of scrutiny behind it. It's not just our own department. We have GOs, policies, laws, constitution, all that stuff behind governing what we're allowed to do. Then you have citizen review boards. You have town halls. You have mayors, city council, the media, all looking at what you do. You don't really have that as a citizen. So it's a poor argument. But I'm going to follow up. I'm going to keep letting Derek speak. No, it's not a poor argument. You said no words should mean hands on a cop or not. That's what I'm referring to. Cops do speak horrible to citizens, so it's not low. But I mean, I'm not saying that cops don't. You're getting off topic. Yeah. Okay. There's plenty of examples of cops speaking poorly to citizens. But we're talking about this instance. And this is what we need to focus on when we start having discussion. What are we talking about? We're talking about this video. We're not bringing up other stuff. We're talking about this video in this instance, because that's how a citizen's going to be judged. That's how a cop's going to be judged, is what's happening in this instance. But you guys have heard my voice enough. Eric, what do you got to say?
Yeah, like I say, once you figure out that taser's not doing anything, you're going to go hands on with them. Like I say, I tell people do it quick and do it fast. Don't sit there and play with people. Like I say, go ahead and put them in handcuffs. Use the least amount of force as necessary, and then like I say, then you go from de-escalating the situation. Like I know some people that have the gift of gab. They could talk down almost anybody. Some people don't have that. Like I say, you want to sit there and talk to them. If they don't calm down, they're still coming at you in an aggressive manner. And from this video, they already tased them. Someone has to make that move to go hands on with him. I say, because he's still standing up, even though he's been sprayed and he's been tased. He's still standing up. He has to go to that ground so you can put handcuffs on him. Go ahead and gain control, and then you can backtrack on what's going on.
Yeah,
you control first, and then you backtrack and figure out what's going on, what caused him to act like this, and then you go from there.
Yep. Danny's thoughts. The cop has walked up to the guy with guns, mace, and taser. Why shouldn't he do what he can to protect himself? Danny, did we just watch the same fucking video together? Matt, did that officer take a step towards this man?
No, that's not what happened. We'll just stick on to what happened to the video in this particular video, guys.
In this video, boys and girls, that cop didn't move. Matter of fact, he ate a shot that I don't think he should have even allowed to happen because he didn't move.
Took one to the chin.
Yeah. He just gave this guy street cred when he goes to jail. I slapped the shit out of that cop. That's what he's going to say when he gets in. You're going to be in the felony tank like, yeah, I slapped the shit out of that one right there. And he's going to be pointing at you through the window. So, all right, let's keep going.
You're going to get tased again. Show me your hands. Down on the ground.
Whoa. Okay. I'm all for some deadly cover, when it's called for, but you have two cops. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse, but you have two officers that are in your line of fire. Let's earn our paycheck. Let's go hands on.
Mm-hmm.
Banning, what do you got? I haven't heard your voice in a minute.
Hands on should have happened. We wouldn't be here. To each his own. And anybody can have an argument for this, but end it when it starts. Then investigate and figure out what's going on so nobody gets hurt. It doesn't get to a situation like this. This is ridiculous. Now you've got a lot of people involved in this to where it shouldn't have been like this. Period.
Yeah. Danny's trying to double down. Sorry, I'll let you go in here in a second, Matt. He said, what happened before? We literally showed you. You may not have been here for that, so I apologize. But we had 30 seconds of the cops standing on the corner, minding their own business, while this man that you see in the video walks from way down the street, pointing, yelling, acting a fool, doing all this, acting very pissed off, just walks up and slaps the cop. And the cop hadn't moved. So that's what happened prior to this. So let's keep going. I'm sorry, Matt, what were you about to say?
I was going to amen what Banning said. I mean, I've been in this situation. I've seen it. One of my bosses get whacked right in front of me. Same type of thing. Didn't hurt him, but whacked him. And just, you go right at the guy. You stop it where it ends. And I just remember cuffing him up and just like, bro, why would you do that? Why would you do that? I'm just like, because he did it right in front of everybody. It was it was ended quickly. We didn't hurt him. Just
listen to Danny. Listen to Danny. Why hands on if no crime? Motherfucker, did you not hear what we said? He slapped the cop. He slapped this cop right here, or maybe this one, in the face, unprovoked. That's a crime. Cop or not, that's a crime. I'm glad we can have open and honest discussion, though. Patriot defense. This guy in the white has got 1 foot in the grave with all the cops around. I called it as I see it. Oh, I see I do see what you're saying. Allowing yourself to get slapped like that and not have a reaction other than to keep retreating and going to your Batman belt and all that stuff. So kind of see what you're saying. Let me see what some of the other stuff. Derek Murphy said, Bobcat, I'm okay with cop's side for this video. Also, I commented when he opened the door and stated no words should equal physical force. This video, he totally deserved to be taken down and arrested. Richard Delgado said, cuff and stuff him. Don't disagree. Somebody else, a LinkedIn user, said, if something goes wrong, it's on the officers for not acting quickly. It's crazy how this was allowed to escalate so far. Agreed. Yeah, exactly. I think all of us are shaking our head at the same time.
Stopped 30 seconds ago.
Beautiful point. What'd you say, Eric, earlier? That you trained so you know
Yeah,
you
get
don't
it
have
done
to hurt
fast.
anybody?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I say that's why I tell my officers all the time. They say, go ahead and get this problem taken care of now, so you don't have to worry about it. Because like when situations like this happen, more people start coming around. They don't see like the guy you're talking to in this video. They don't see what's going around, but they come around with the cameras. They try to get involved in the situation. They be like, "Why are you harassing them? Why you bother?" They didn't see what he just did. Go ahead and
Yep.
put him in the handcuffs, and then you work your way back. I say,
Yep.
don't sit there and prolong it. But that's how officers get hurt. That's how other people get hurt. We sit there and,
Yep.
like, for better words, you put your foot around with these people, put them in handcuffs, see what's going on, and then you handle it from there. Don't sit there and wait 30 seconds. Now you got tasers out, you got mace, and then someone pulled a gun out.
Yep.
Who knows what's going to happen next?
Yeah, I'm gonna pause the video. I mean, it's already paused, but I want to kind of emphasize what Eric just said, so you guys kind of get what we're talking about of pussyfooting around. If we hesitate, like right now, this is what I would call hesitation. We should have went hands on. We didn't. So what did we do by not going hands on? We didn't get him to the ground. We didn't start getting his hands behind his back. It allows him to keep fighting around, and by that, now we just use a taser. I consider that a higher, let me get to the camera here, a higher use of force versus going hands on. And so would the law. That is an intermediate use of force. So by us pussyfooting around, now instead of just using hands, we went to a taser. And because we're still not going hands on, it can escalate from here. Maybe he's like, fuck this. And now he starts digging for something. He may not have anything, but now we end up shooting this guy because we didn't handle business at the beginning by just taking his ass to the ground and cuffing him. Maybe he gets punched and that looks bad. We don't like punching people if we don't have to. But I'd rather have punched him twice than pussyfooted around, as Eric's saying. And now I ended up shooting the guy because of him reaching. And who allowed that to happen? We did. We allowed that to happen. So that is what we mean when we're talking about pussyfooting around and not handling business up front. And then what we do is we end up getting judged because we seemed too aggressive by going hands-on at the beginning. So that I'm sorry, off my soapbox. That's I think Eric made a really good point, and I kind of wanted to, piggyback off of that. No pun intended. So let's keep going.
Down on the ground.
All right, somebody's gonna go hands on. They're putting the gloves
Black
on.
gloves.
Yep.
Uh-oh, he's
Hands
coming
on
in.
gloves. There we go. And look, this guy was gonna go to the ground. Too easy.
Cross legs from upper the body. And lean into it.
All right, leg person is doing jack shit. Like, what are you doing? Like, if you're gonna do it,
techniques.
If you're gonna do it right. You're not helping. He could kick you off if he wanted to. This guy's not resisting.
No,
I think he's compliant. I think
he
he was
knows.
waiting. Do you guys disagree? I think he was really just waiting to be taken to the ground by the cops. I mean,
I would like to know the entirety of this is what made this gentleman get that upset to begin with.
Yeah.
Just because if it's true. I mean, we're not seeing the full thing. I would love to know for a fact on exactly what did happen. Because
Right.
a reasonable and prudent person does not just walk up and slap somebody, let alone a police officer. So to me, I'm curious on what caused this. Either way, we've got to stop it to where it doesn't happen to anybody else.
Yeah. LinkedIn user said Perp reached towards his waist just before the pause and before he was tased. I think what he was doing, and this is just my opinion based on what we saw, I think he saw the tasers pointed at him and he did this number, which is a common response when we point tasers at people. People kind of flinch and turn their body away. I don't necessarily think he was reaching, but I think that's kind of what he was doing. Somebody, is your mixer line for the computer feeding computer twice? I don't know. Don't know what that means, Alan. Let me possibly
that slight echo that we had on that last clip that was being played.
Oh, let me give me 1 second, guys. I may have a fix for that. I think I know what's going on. So I'm going to give me 1 second.
And while Eric's talking, let me just talk. Looking at some of these comments, I understand. I mean, it's a double-edged sword. You're looking at 4 cops right now that if we're on the street and we're on a call and we see a cop violate somebody's friggin' rights, we're going to be the first people that's jumping on them. So I've got to make that clear now. I have no problems with slamming an officer down that's not doing something he's not supposed to or she's not supposed to be doing. So I'm going to lay that out there right now, just to kind of clear the air on that. If we're going to call it if we see something wrong. Period.
Yeah, absolutely. Did I fix the echo? I hope. I'll let Alan
Sounds good right now.
tell me. Yeah. So, oh, there's Alan. You're muted, buddy. How do we sound? Better?
Sound fine. You're not going to know until you play it.
Oh, okay. Let me play. Let's see what happens. You tell me.
Sounds better.
Okay.
Okay. You understand that? Assault on a police officer.
Notice they're not beating on him. They're just holding him. This is how I would hope it would go. We discontinue our use of force based on the actions of this subject. He's no longer doing his dumb stuff. We got him down on the ground, and we're just cuffing him up. Salty Grandpa said, dude came a long way to slap a cop in the face. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Somebody said fixed. Awesome. Appreciate it, Edu. Hope I pronounced that correct.
Edu. I love that's one of my guys. He's my people.
Okay. Awesome. Glad. He said, oh, wait, maybe not. Damn it, Edu. I don't know what we did wrong in this episode to where we're getting the echo. Tell me if you guys can hear this real quick. I just tried something different. I'm not hearing it. Can you guys hear it?
You can hear it's a little bit lower, though.
Turn the volume up. We're learning as we go, guys. It's the problem with running your own shit. So from here, we're going to search him, make sure he doesn't have any weapons or dope on him. And then we're going to start having the conversations like, dude, what the fuck was that? Why did you do that? Fast forward a little bit, see if we get that conversation going. Echoes back. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is, guys. I am not sure. Let me go to my audio.
It's almost like it's coming through one of our feeds and doubling up on it. I don't know if one of our speakers are doing audible and the mic's catching it or.
Oh, yeah, that could be it. Alan, if you want to, when we're playing the video, just mute people's mics. That may be the only fix that we have for tonight. So Danny's like, echo. All right, we're going to stop sharing this one now that we've watched it. So let's have this conversation, guys. You're standing there minding your own business on duty. Somebody comes up and slaps you. How do we improve police work from what we saw here? I'll let Eric, you go first.
Well, the first step is going to be training. Like I said, you got to work on telling people about the reactionary grab. First of all, you see somebody come up to you aggressively and then feel like he was talking to the officer before he got there because we didn't have any audio. Officer need to go ahead and start having a conversation like, what's going on? Start creating that gap. And then if they feel like the officer with the offender is coming on too fast and you feel like he's going to be aggressive, then you decide on what you're going to do next. Also, the person that was actually filming the first part of it, you got to get prepared and get in the fight. I say, you're not going to sit there and stand there while I get slapped, and we're not going to have a conversation after that happens. I say, even after I got slapped and I was walking around pulling my taser out, you didn't do anything like that. So all this is going to come back to training. And then at the end of the day, you got to have that hard conversation with yourself. This is what you need to be doing. Everybody doesn't need to be in law enforcement. Everybody doesn't have what it takes. But like I said, at certain times, you're going to have to go hands-on with people, whether you want to or not. And like some people see in the video, why you have 4 officers against one person, I've seen somebody high on PCP. I've seen 6 officers try to take one person out, and he might be 150 pounds. You just never know what's going on. Some people can have superhuman strength. But at the end of the day, like I said, we need to work on the training aspect of this part. First, verbal judo. Like I said, I'm a big believer in that. I had to go to the class myself because I didn't know how to talk to people when I first became in law enforcement. But I learned how to de-escalate situations. And then from there, you got to work on your training. I say, like you said, jiu-jitsu program, some type of martial arts, wrestling, something to go ahead and get these people in handcuffs quickly and effectively. Like I said, do it sooner than waiting until later. Like I say, you see how the situation escalated, and then even towards the end of the video, you start seeing more people around the officers. If you were to go ahead and put them in handcuffs, maybe put them in the back seat and just talk to them, you won't have to worry about that. So training is going to be the biggest thing I harp on.
Gotcha. Matt, I got a question for you. Do you think this lack of engagement, this hesitation maybe, do you think that could be a problem with the way that police work is today? Do you think that hesitation was, I don't want to go hands-on because I don't want to get in trouble?
Not in this particular video. I think that does take place in maybe a different video. In this particular video, I could just sense like the standards really not that high. Like it seemed like they were scared to play rough. A good cop doesn't jump at the chance to do that, but has no problem when it comes to let's get physical. Okay, engage right away. And I think that comes from like LT said, from training and getting used to and having a standard in this job that you don't have to even think about it twice. You came at my partner, you came at me. We gotta come right back and do a professional job like they did at the end. Like that should have been done right away.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I do think I personally don't think this was because of being gun shy, so to speak, because of policies and stuff that come down. I do think this was just a lack of confidence in themselves, lack of confidence in training, lack of confidence in ability to go hands on.
Yeah. And I think to your point of being in a combat sport, that's so useful to any officer playing rough. I mean, LT played football. I'm sure Banning has done his share of training in combat. I was a boxer for years and did MMA and played football. And right away, if somebody puts you, oh, come on.
Yeah.
You got to be able to deal with it.
Banning was in ballet, so it's odd. It really worked out for him.
I'm wearing a tutu underneath this.
Oh, shit. I like it. Let's talk about Dirtbag said, just say it, Matt. These cops were pussies.
Hey, my pastor's watching. I can't.
Oh, no. He's like, I can't say that.
I mean, he could have caught him off guard, though. Like I said, the way he walked up on him could have caught that one officer off guard. But you still, as a partner, you got to go ahead and react. Once my partner gets snagged, we just going to figure it out.
Yeah. To Edu's point, he said, I think it starts with seeing everyone you interact with as a child of God. I don't disagree with that. I think, the golden rule, treat everybody as you'd want to be treated. It's a great way to start. But you got to also remember, God sends people to hell. So, I'm not trying to be funny on that, but what I mean, if you're a God-fearing man, like that's part of the thing is yes, I agree until they give you the choice not to, like knowing when to turn that switch on to go from being, a guardian to a warrior. Like you got to know that point, and everybody's a little different. Like Banning's threshold is going to be a lot different than mine. He's a big dude. So he's not going to get tested as much, I would hope. And it's not going to take as much effort for him. Where me, I'm 190 pounds, 5'11".
Gotta eat, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm not trying to eat
biscuits, man.
But also, I mean, we're also, when I can speak from talking to y'all individually, we're not out there, pardon my French, but we're not out there being assholes to people, respecting people. And that goes a long way. And how you approach people and how you speak from the heart and the head, as opposed to having that posture of being an ass as an officer. We all know that there are some out, very small percentage, but there are some of them out there like that. And if we're supervisors, we're not doing our job if we're not bringing them back and retraining them and make sure they have the tools on their belt to make sure they can take care of a situation mentally and physically, mentally being number one.
Yeah, just so you know, Banning, Renetta Williams said, Banning, I have 3 red-headed, red-beard sons. So I think she likes you already. Let's talk about Dirtbag Said. Let's do another video. I like this. I am glad you like this. I think it's a unique thing that we do. I think we got Matt hooked
I
on
love
our
it.
last one. He was like, that was the best. He was talking to us. We're trying to get Eric involved on this a little bit more now that we got a little bit of Georgia flavor in the house. So that's the point, guys. We all have different styles. I'm from Flint, but I've been down south the last 13 years in Texas. My style has changed from the way I was a cop in Flint. I wasn't in Flint. I was in Saginaw, Michigan, but I'm from Flint originally. So my style has changed. So just in that, and then being around these guys this is what I love about it. It's not just about helping the community help change us as cops, or us as cops help you as the community change. Matt has changed the way I do police work. And he didn't even know he did, just by watching some of the stuff he's done. Banning's changed the way that I do police work. I'm constantly trying to improve and do better. And that's why I like doing what we do, because when we have these discussions, I always get a slightly different perspective I hadn't considered, and I employ that the next time I'm out in the field. It's a constant improvement thing. We are not perfect. We will never be perfect as cops. I think we expect perfection from cops, which we can't do, but there are certain things that we need to hold. And I got this from Matt. Constitutionally speaking, there are things that you can't fuck up as a cop. And you can't afford to fuck up. And I like that. And I never thought of it that way. And I got that from Matt. And I've taken that to the field now. So thank you, Matt.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So
in reference to Greg's question, it's a different color. It's not chartreuse in reference to the tutu.
All right, I'm gonna go to the next video here. Let me see. Share. I hope we don't get the echo, guys. I'm sorry if that's happening. This has not happened to us yet. So some setting changed somewhere. So I hope it. I'm thinking maybe it might be Matt, because he's the only one that doesn't have headphones in. So we've muted his mic while we're playing the video. Let's go. All right. Next video's up. You guys let us know in the comments if you hear any echoes. Police Activity. Shout out to Police Activity. This is their page. Make sure you guys subscribe, like, follow all of their stuff. Again, we have no idea what this call is. Okay, I'm going to pause it. I've seen this video now that I've gotten this far. I've seen this. Eric, Matt, I don't know if you guys have seen this one. Does it look familiar? No? Okay. So I'm going to pull myself back from saying a whole lot and just let y'all tell me when you want to say something. Fuck. Still echo.
Yeah, still hear it.
You can hear it? Which is crazy to me, because I don't hear anything. Normally, I should be able to hear it.
Play it again, Eric. I didn't have him muted yet from your pause.
Okay. Tell me if you guys hear an echo. We're still playing.
Charles, drop it! Drop it! Drop it! Drop it! Charles! Step it up. You're going to have to send it back.
One, I'm pausing it to see. Pausing it to see if we still have an echo. It sounds like we do. Sorry. But we just arrived on scene, and all of a sudden we see this guy has a knife inside of a car dealership. So, Matt, what are you doing from here? What's your concerns? How are you getting information out there?
Can you hear me now?
Can hear you.
Yeah, obviously get on the radio, let them know what you have. Assess it. Is he by anybody? Is he threatening with it? I can't really see what he sees right now. And obviously you would assess what the call came out as. I'm not sure did you say earlier what the call came out as?
Nope.
Okay, so as of right now, I'm seeing like distance, where are people safe around him, and get it out on the radio. We need some people here.
Okay. I am messing. Test. I'm messing with my audio tracks again. I'm trying to get rid of this echo, guys. I don't know what's causing it, so I apologize. You say I don't think it's from your mics. I think it's from the video feed. It has 2 audio inputs selected. So I'm listening to Edu. I hope not.
Charles, drop the knife. Drop it. Drop it. Drop it
Hear an
now.
echo
Drop
again.
it.
Help us work this out.
Outside. Somebody. 1 mil down.
All right. So we fired. Did we have an echo? Or perhaps the video
okay.
started. So we have shots fired here. Eric, did you have a problem with it from there?
No, that was the first officer for shooting. Like I say, he was literally about to throw a knife at him. I say, you don't know how good his technique is. I say he might not be good at it, but I know people that can actually throw stars and knives that can strike you wherever they want you to happen. So no, you got to go ahead. And like I say, that's a lethal weapon. Like I say, you can literally die from that. He could incapacitate you by getting a knife in your eye, anything like that. So like I say, firing shots at him, go ahead and get him taken care of. I say, because you got to protect yourself as officers, but you got to protect those around you. And like
everybody's
no
echo.
You got to get everybody from around you, so you got to get all that taken care of. So I didn't have no problem with it.
Okay. And yeah, I'm not letting anybody. I don't care if you know how to throw a knife or if you don't know how to throw a knife.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not letting you throw a fucking knife at me.
Yeah.
Matt, what do you got on this?
Yeah, I've seen knives be thrown very accurately. He's got a better gauge on how big the knife is. I could see it from the body cam here.
Yeah.
And that could kill you.
Yeah. Constitutional Country Girl said overkill. Okay. Unique perspective. Let's talk about that. I'm going to go back, and I kind of understand what she's saying. We initially fired a shot or two.
Mm-hmm.
Did the action that caused us to shoot still continue, or did it stop? So this is where we're getting into the Monday morning quarterbacking. So it's hard to judge an officer based on what he sees in real time. We've got the ability to sit back, watch this, and rewind and do all that shit. So with that said, let's go back just slightly after the shots rang out.
Drop it now.
So here he is. He's winding back. I would say it's fair that he was either going to throw it or charge with it. So this is where I'm okay with shots being fired. Viewer discretion advised if that has not been made abundantly apparent by now.
Drop it.
Okay, we've wung the knife out there. And now there's this slight lull. I mean, what do you guys think? Banning, I'll let you go first.
Just so the public that may not understand, and we don't obviously wake up. There's no officer that wakes up and says, I'm going to use deadly force today. If somebody's thinking that in their head, they don't need to have a badge in their chest. However, in reference to this call, we have to fire until that threat is done. And if that threat is not done, you have to volley another round. Volley until that threat is completely done. It's hard for me to quarterback this with the angle. I can't with the way my hearing is on this, I can't tell which officer is firing at which rate. It's hard for me to see it on this little screen that I'm on, but I'm not seeing a problem yet. I'd like to see it from another angle.
Yep. Matt, what do you got, man?
Yeah, it depends on who was firing it, and what he sees.
Yeah.
It happened really quick. This is not to me. I don't look at this as that Chicago incident was putting 16 shots and the guy is laying on the ground. I think is the big difference here. If it ended right there, that happened so fast.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. Perception, reaction of time. He literally just said what was in my mind. Perception, reaction of time. Alden Barker. Well put, sir. That's exactly what I was going to say. Our perception of time is slowed way the fuck down. Right now, everybody watching this, it's slowed way down. But when you're in the moment, if anybody's ever faced adrenaline or any of that, like your perception at the time when this shooting happens, that is how you're judged in court. And that's how this will be judged. It seems really slow. So what I meant when I was saying, let's talk about dirtbags, I'm sorry, it wasn't that person. It was constitutional somebody or other. Had said, and I'll get to that question in a second, why not tasers? But somebody had said, that was too many. Well, it seems that way to us because we have the privilege of being able to rewind and watch this over and over. But these guys' perception of time was slowed or is sped way up. It doesn't come across the same way that we see in the video.
Yeah, we still don't know what the other officer on his right is seeing. He can
True.
just fall down. But I've seen people fall down, cover up, and have a gun under them and still could fire. So
Yeah.
you just never know what's going on. So you got to take it from all angles first before you just decide on what's going on. Like say, so that's gonna
Right.
be the issue in this video.
Yep. Eye of the Night said he wasn't unarmed until after he was shot. But it takes the brain a second to realize, okay, this guy's chucking a knife at me. So they fire. And now he's moving towards us and he just threw something. We don't, like I said, I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling you that you have to understand when we start judging people based on the stuff as their perception at the time. Have you guys ever been in a fight and then had to recount something? The trauma and the stress and everything you're facing and the different types of chemicals that run through your body, your perception and memory are thrown way off. So, and I don't want to seem like I'm the one up here just talking bullshit, but why not tasers? We don't use tasers on a deadly force situation. A knife is a deadly force situation. Matt, what do you got to say about that?
Yeah, well, we just watched a video. The tasers malfunction quite a bit, and like I'm not willing to. Nobody should be one. There's a 21-foot rule too. We can talk about as well.
Right.
But I've been. I believe it was at my brother. Might have been a party I was at. I saw a chick throw a knife, and that thing stuck right into the wall, and that's deadly. That could have been deadly if that was into somebody. So the tasers, you just can't rely on them from that distance. Plus, there's stuff in the way. It just looked too far.
Yeah. Yeah. And just some of the people in the comments are even saying like, and to Matt's point, tasers fail. You just watched in the last video, they deployed 2 tasers and it didn't work. It didn't get the neuromuscular incapacitation and drop the person. That guy was still able to fight if he had wanted to. He stood up the whole time. But that's not what they did here. Alden Barker said, don't know if he is actually unarmed until he's cuffed and searched. Very true. If he's got a knife, who knows what else he has. There is a great video where you can see they tase a guy. I wish I had it available right now, but they tase a guy down to the ground. And as the officers approach, the guy just starts dropping gunfire. Bam, 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 bam. He had a gun in his hand. The officers didn't know that. They just tased him and were moving into cuff, and the guy's got a gun. You don't know. And if you here's kind of, I just said that right. If you
Texas coming at you.
I know. If you have, I'm trying to figure out the right way to phrase this. If you have the ability to pick up a knife and throw it at 2 uniformed officers who are throwing a gun, if they're pointing guns at you, are we really going to be able to reason with this person? Are you really thinking that this person's going to think, oh, I just threw my knife, now I'm going to give up? I'm not willing to take that chance. So that's me. Jason Allen said, it can go in your face, neck, arm, leg. I'm assuming we're talking about the knife. Yeah, absolutely. In the eye, definitely. I don't want to get hit in the eye with a knife.
They're answering another. Somebody else had made a comment like that knife or object can't go through a vest, and somebody had explained it absolutely can. I don't know of a knife-proof vest. Do you, Eric?
I don't.
No, it's going to go through that Kevlar.
Yeah.
I say unless you technically have on your SWAT level 4 plates, I say then maybe not. But like I say, officers are not wearing that around. That Kevlar, that knife can go through it.
Yeah.
And you can
I will say the way he wound up his arm, I don't think I was going through paper, but
you never know, man. He might have a good.
I'm just giving him shit. I played a lot of baseball. You can tell when a guy can throw and when a guy can't throw. Yeah, dude can't throw. So he said also in some states, tasers are considered deadly force. So why go with something that doesn't always work? And let's talk about that point. Guns in themselves don't always work. I've seen people shot multiple times and act like they hadn't been touched. Guns, just because you get shot once doesn't mean you just drop. And this is a perfect example. This guy got shot, I'm assuming, on that first round, and it didn't drop him. And I think that's why they continue to fire. They're like, oh shit, he didn't go down. Bam, 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 bam. They followed up. So also one cop called him by his name. They know what he's like and capable of, I'm guessing. So a frequent flyer, somebody we've dealt with multiple times. Matt, how many frequent flyers have you probably got so many in your years of being a cop?
Oh, in my city, yeah, I know half the city. There's a lot of them. So you know what if you know know him by name, he's obviously know what he's capable of. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Good observation too.
Yeah, and it is also something, you try to gain rapport. I think that's why they used his name. They were trying to gain that rapport so they didn't have to use force. So it's a good technique. Let's talk about Dirtbag said, I do have a general situation question. Why do cops cuff people or command people after shooting them multiple times? Because people will play possum, and this has been done before. They'll either act injured, or they're not as injured as they thought, or they'll look at it as one less attempt to go out in a blaze of glory. They wait for you to get in. I'm military, so I've learned a lot about, vehicle-borne IEDs and things of that nature, and terrorist tactics of drawing in first responders to take out more targets later. It's the same type of mentality. So cops play for the worst case scenario. If I just had to shoot you, you're not secure until you're fully secure. And like I said, gunshots can put you down, but it doesn't mean you're not a threat anymore. Just like the guy I explained earlier that was tased. He was tased. He went to the ground. As soon as officers came in, he started firing rounds off. He shot several cops. They didn't die, thankfully, but he was tased, and he still was able to fire a gun. He was able to fire a gun while being tased. So it wasn't that the taser stopped and then he fired. He was able to fire while being tased. So there's that. Let's see how they finish this out. I'm going to assume we're going to see hopefully another body cam angle. I'm not 100% sure. But from here, we got to secure the scene. We got to command him. Hey, belly down, whatever. Show me your hands. Get in there and cuff. And then start applying medical. Looks like there's another knife by his body.
Hands behind your back. Hands behind your back.
There,
Hands
yep.
behind your back. Hands behind your back.
So he threw a knife, and there was another knife by him. He had two knives. Is that what you guys saw? Or did he drop?
I don't know if that's the same knife that he dropped. I couldn't tell.
I'm going to go back real quick, and then I'll fast forward again. I just want to see.
Charles.
So he does use
Step it up. He's got a knife. Send it back.
Never observed that.
Charles, drop the knife. Drop it. Drop it. Drop it now. Drop it.
Okay, so he's cocked back. Does he drop it? He threw that.
Yeah, he threw that one.
That one got thrown. So he has another knife. And again, I still support what I said. He doesn't know how to throw. And I want to point out something else, something that is a big difference between firing at the range and firing in real life. You can't see the bullets hit. All you can go off of is the action of the person you're shooting at. You can't see the bullets going that dude at all. Danny's thoughts, I was thinking. I love the name. These have got to be Matt's guys. All of Matt's guys have awesome names.
The best.
So who else is in the line of fire? That's a good question. The bullets can absolutely go through the wall that's behind them.
Yeah, know your backdrop.
Yep. So you got to know your backdrop. Banning, what do you got to say about that?
Absolutely. We don't, and again, we're watching these videos like y'all are watching them, so we don't know all the details to them. And we have to deal with the situation that's directly in front of us to end that threat. And that's what they're doing here. And we can sit here and quarterback. They're doing what they believe is right to end that threat right then, so nobody else gets hurt. If somebody got hurt in the beginning, again, we don't know all the details on it.
Yep. And you guys don't know this, but Eric has got a big SWAT background. So, Eric, what is your thoughts on the ballistics and going through that and deciding to take a shot? Because your tactical background is a lot more advanced than my own. So just curious what your training and experience tells you on this.
Well, yeah, like I said, even from those walls, like I say, them bullets going to go through those walls. Then you have glass and all that stuff. But still, at the end of the day, you still have it's your job to stop that threat. Now, you got to take into account, like I say, what's going behind there. But in most of those situations like that, we're going to try to get everybody out the way or get them somewhere from where we know we're not going to shoot. Like I say, whether they did that or not, or whether people in those offices, like I say, we just can't tell. But like I say, you got to stop that threat also. So like I say, you're going to pile them off. Like I say, take the best shot you can. I say, but time he raised that knife and started throwing it, you got to go ahead and take action. So, like I say, the officers did what they believed was best. Now, if you want to sit there and wait and take a long shot, I mean, you can, but like I say, in those situations, you got to go ahead and take that threat on out the way. Like I say, you never know if somebody decides to come out from the back and you hold some hostage, and then you turn to an even bigger situation. So you got to go ahead and get that threat first. So, like they always tell us in SWAT, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Get it done fast. Get it on out the way.
Yep. One of the things I want to point out with what you guys are saying too is that, you have a right to protect yourself. That's another important fact as a cop. Like, I don't have to wait for that knife to go airborne to be like, all right, I got to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you've got a right to protect your own self. I've actually been in 2 situations in a crowded bar area where there's people scattered everywhere and a person fired shots in our direction. I couldn't shoot. Yes, I had a right to protect myself, but there was just too many people running around. I personally couldn't pull the trigger. I didn't have that confidence in my own shooting to do such a thing in a dynamic situation, where we don't have that here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any apparent people. Hopefully my bullet doesn't go through that wall and hit somebody else, but I also have a right to protect myself. So I'm going to fast forward back again and see if we see a different camera angle by chance. Looks like they do some first aid. And no, we don't get a different camera angle. So with that said, let's go to the next video. Matt, I know you said you got about an hour, so you let me know, buddy.
Okay. I got about a few more minutes. I was going to say what's up to Tim E on here.
Oh, is he on?
That's my guy. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember Tim from last time. I love him.
You made a good point too. I was going to one last point for that right here. What I read his comment at a trench coat on. I remember specifically arresting a guy who had he was threatening somebody with a knife. Had a knife in one hand. I made him drop that. I got him down on his knees, crossed his legs. I go to cuff him up. He's got 2 Michael Myers knives in each of his inner pockets of his coat.
Oh
so
shit!
You never. That's why you come in like Lieutenant said. You come in smooth, but you come in all visual on and as apprehensive as you and safe as you possibly can.
Yeah, I do want to point out the one person that I arrested in a trench coat. The one thing he had in his pocket was his penis. So he was pleasuring himself in front of Title Boxing while women were doing their boxing thing. It was kind of like a glass front storefront type thing at Title Boxing, and they're doing their little tie bow stuff, like hitting the bag, and there's a guy announcing, well, we got a call, like there's a dude like making a weird motion in a trench coat in front of the window. So me on my bicycle patrol go pedaling, I see the dude and I can see he's actively like pumping the brakes, so to speak. So I jump off my bike, I tackle him, and go to like, how one hand was in the pocket, the other hand was out of his coat. So I like an idiot reach in, and there was something hot in there, and that he had a hole cut in his coat to go into his pocket, and that's what he was doing. So yeah, it looked like he had his hand in his pocket, but he didn't. He was actually, So needless to say, you got to be careful with trench coats. You never know. That was one of the times I regret going hands-on. I should have went taser. And I went hands-on and I touched grossness. Because it wasn't just a fleshy issue inside his pocket. It was a gooey fleshy.
Oh no.
Yeah. Listen, I sanitized that hand for about 2 days straight.
You burn all your clothes?
I did. I was in the shower, like in a ball in the fetal position. It was horrible.
Himself that day.
Ryan Holzner, he was a pro. Yeah, he was a pro. Fucker. Oh shit.
You chased Banning away with that story.
Yeah, I know. No, Banning went to the bathroom. He's probably touching himself now. Sick bastard. Oh shit. Okay, let's go back. Let's play the next video. Share this tab instead. Let's Biggie size. I believe this is an SRO video. I have seen this one. I recognize the pink shirt right away. Hollow points at least will stop verse 124p plus ball, and Eric carries with the Hey, listen, don't be making fun of my Air Force guys. So, all right, let's play this. I cannot wait to hear what Matt has to say about this because he is a school resource officer. So let's go.
So I understand the frustration of the whole situation.
No idea, I'm sorry.
You have no idea. Okay, well, let's continue. Let's forget about the I'm sorry here, I'm sorry there. Let's go and take care of what we have to take care of.
What you can do is, like I was just explaining, when this process goes through court, you can explain your side of the story to the judge. It's ultimately going to be up to the judge what is going to happen from here on out. What I made a determination on is probable cause alone, which just means that he was the primary aggressor.
No,
being
she
that
was the primary
this
aggressor
isn't an
because she
argument.
was yelling at him.
Okay,
And that's aggression.
I'm gonna finish this
Okay, so
conversation.
you
if you guys keep
you
interrupting
fail
me.
a kid. Okay, that's okay. You are failing kids right here. We're not talking about us because believe me, if it were about the adults, we can solve this at all different levels.
So
I'm gonna pause it right now because you can. I can already get the vibe off of this, but I've seen this. So Matt, as an SRO, can you tell me what you kind of think you're feeling here and how you handle this?
It seems to me that she's, I don't know, coming across as not empathetic towards. I mean, this is Mama Bear and Papa Bear. That's what I'm thinking. But it's definitely tense in there. I mean, you're not dealing with the normal situation, dealing with a parent and their child. So you got to be extra sensitive and walk on eggshells when on how you address this. And again, it's not going to be you got to keep in mind that these are going to be juvie charges. They're not. It's not this big, major, huge thing. I would assume, from what they're talking about, sounds like a fight.
Yeah, that's what I was getting. It was that is a fight of some sort, and I don't know the backstory. I just know I watched the video of this, so I don't want to give too much away. But yeah, I agree with you. You know, Mama Bear was a good comment because. I'm a parent. I'm going to defend my kid. You know, if they did wrong, I'm going to handle that on the backside. But in the public, I'm probably going to be like, shut the fuck up about my kid. I can't help myself.
Yeah, this is where verbal judo and being soft and choosing your words wisely comes in a huge play, dealing with parents.
Okay, so let's keep going.
We are talking about a kid that I'm fooling. Now I'm telling you, I'm talking to you. Okay, yes, I am going to do. Guess what? Because I pay you salary. Okay, what happened to you? Okay, why are you so worthless? Do you feel proud that you are this worthless lady? Do you feel this proud that you are this worthless? Shut the fuck up because I pay.
All right, we're about to get to the I pay your salary comment right there. Eric, what's your thoughts so far, man?
Well, yeah, I could say for the officer, you got to go ahead. I would say, one, if you know what type of situation is about to happen, that you can go ahead and get another officer in there. Maybe try to have a principal in there. Like I said, I was an SRO for a little bit. And I applaud you, Matt, for doing it. Like I said, that's not my cup of tea. I say dealing with kids and parents is a bad mix.
Yeah. I like to do real police work too. So
don't start that.
You got to have patience. And like I say, that's just not for me. Like I say, that's for some people. It's just not for me. But yeah, once you start getting aggressive like that, like I say, hey, we could talk about this later on. Maybe you need to go home and then we can have a conference later on. But I say, you raising up in that chair and all that stuff, I say, we're not going to get anything accomplished with tempers flaring like that. So, hey, if you want to come back and talk about it later on, if you want to calm down, that's fine. But we're not going to have that going on in the office. But you're just not going to get anywhere with it.
Gotcha. Yeah. You guys are going to get some inside police humor from us as well. You're going to hear guys that are stuck in the streets talking shit about school resource officers. You're going to hear school resource officers talking shit about, you know, the hope units and stuff like that and the homeless liaisons. And it's all love. I promise we don't really mean it. That's why I say
we hear it all. We hear it all.
Yeah. It's saying that, you know, SROs don't like to do real police work. That's
McGruff. They call him McGruff.
Yeah, McGruff. There you go. Jeff Parrish said the room is also laid out wrong. The SRO should be sitting closest to the door and not putting themselves in a place where they can be trapped. I mean, yeah, that's a fair argument. I never want my back to the door. That's kind of an old school cop mentality. I want to be able to see. So I guess it just depends. But that's neither here nor there. I think one of the things that we have an issue right now with is a cultural issue. Having a female in power from a culture that's not used to having that is something to consider here. It's not a sexist remark. I was humbled several times moving to Texas in dealing with the Hispanic culture when dealing with domestics, because I was trying to talk to the female where my partner's trying to talk to the male, and the male wants you to focus on them first. You shouldn't be talking to the female, or you should at least be asking permission. These were things that I had to deal with. I ended up getting in fights that I didn't necessarily need to get into, not physical fights, but verbal fights, and antagonizing type things that I wasn't intending to do because I wasn't used to the culture. So I had to learn, and I learned really quick. And I learned from other officers that told me, like, hey, next time try this. Like, oh, shit, I didn't know. So let's see how this plays out.
Your salary, you don't
If you
bitch.
put your hand in my
Okay?
face, this is gonna
That's what
escalate.
happened. Look, what is gonna happen? What is gonna happen?
You need to leave.
You are a worthless piece of shit. Yeah, go back up. No wonder no wonder you're fucking dying.
You need to leave.
There's nothing else we can do.
We're gonna hold him back.
But don't worry, we're gonna keep this high.
You need to leave.
You are.
You put your hand in my
right
face
here.
one more time. We're gonna have a fucking.
All right. Banning, what do you think so far?
I'm getting a lot of lag on this, and I think it's my internet. I'm hearing very little bit. Even when y'all are talking, I can't interject with anything.
No worries. Matt, what do you think, man?
I just had a situation like this today. If you actually want me to tell the truth,
Okay.
I didn't see any de-escalation. You got to validate a parent. He's talking about their kids. Validate their feelings. Okay. I first thing I always say is I have 7 kids. I understand. I love my babies same way you do. Yeah. Yeah. And so you try to put yourself and empathize with them as best you can. It's a de-escalation tactic. And when you like you're not going to raise your voice. I just saw so many things wrong with the dialogue right there. And then following them out that way, I'd have handled that totally different.
Yeah. And somebody had pointed out, like, why are you following him? Like, you asked him to leave. You are I would have the wherewithal as the cop that I'm the problem. Not that I am a problem, but I am the cause of this person's amping up. So I'm going to kind of back up. Hey, you got to go. If he starts to leave, I'm going to let everybody else let him follow that way out. I'm going to be way in the back, kind of in tow, just kind of making sure everything goes right, but I'm not going to engage with him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So
you can get a third party. I mean, you're not technically. Call a principal, call a vice principal.
Right. You don't. It doesn't need to be a cop.
If you're unsatisfied with what I'm saying, let's bring somebody. Let's bring another voice in it. But I saw no attempt to de-escalate things. And
there, I do feel a whole flex of. I don't want to say flex of power. I don't necessarily think it's so much as a power thing as much as it is like I need to. Well, okay, I take that back. I need to be in control. Control and power, I guess, are the same thing. So there was a lack of control on the call, and I think that she was trying to get that control back. And big picture, there's not a need. Let him have the control. I'll talk all the shit you want, bro. I'm sorry. Hey, I get it. If it was my kid, I'm gonna protect my kid too. I don't blame you, but could you please head that way? And that's it. That's all I'm really gonna go with. That's how I don't fight, guys. I'm trying to tell you guys, I've done jujitsu since 2006. You know how many times I've really got to use it for myself? 0. I have got to use it 0 times for myself. The only time I'm ever really using it is to help out another officer. That's the only, and I'm in a city of 1 million plus. So, Greg said, holy shit. He said verbal judo. Yeah. Instead of de-escalation, which is all verbal judo got renamed to. So, Danny's thoughts was, I was thinking. I love reading the names. Flex of ego. I do think that could be a possibility in this, especially when he started trying to get personal, calling her, a dyke and all that stuff. As Ryan said, it's not a pissing contest. It's not. Explain why you did what you did, and move on from there. But let's keep going. Now he's really trying to get it down. So, doesn't matter how we got here. Now we're here. Eric, how are you handling this dad right now?
Well, I mean, for me, I'm gonna go ahead and get him. Like I say, I'm gonna get him to the ground. But like I say, you want a Monday quarterback this situation. But like I said, people are different. People have different skill sets. People handle situations totally different. This case, if she had a taser, that'd probably be the best bet for her to do. Like I say, but I don't know her skill set. But like I say, you got to separate because there's too many bodies involved right now. Because you have the mother that's involved. Like I say, I don't know if she's trying to actively fight her because I can't tell, or she's just trying to protect her from the dad. But the dad is losing control, and you got to gain control no matter what. Like I said, you can't let people just become out of control in those type of situations. So you got to gain your control one way or the other. If possible, see if you can go ahead and get another officer there. If you got some coaches around, if you got some people that that likes to go hands-on in school. Like I say, when I worked in the school system, you always have those coaches or teachers that when a fight broke out, they won't get involved with you. So you're going to see if you can get those people on the radio. Hey, man, we got a problem up here, but you need to go ahead and get that guy taken care of. One way or the other, he's got to get in handcuffs, calm him down. Like I say, it's just going to keep rising until something major happens. So you got to calm him down. But it's a lot going on because it's like 4 or 5 people in that small space trying to calm the situation down, and he's trying to get to the officer. And like I said, I can't tell if the mother's helping the officer or she's trying to fight the officer. So I can't tell on that part.
Yeah. I think Jeff Parrish had a good take. He said it takes 2 to fight or argue. If one walks away, it can't continue, especially if the other is already leaving. And that was kind of to the point that I was trying to make, was like, hey, I no longer need to be a part of this. I'm obviously the problem, which anytime the cops are involved, 9 times out of 10, we are going to be the targets of being the problem, whether we are or we're not. It's just how nobody calls us for the good things. They're calling us because bad things are happening, and we have to be the authority on that. So with that said, I would say in this instance, like, you're talking about my kid. There's obviously an issue that went on where one kid's in the right, one kid's in the wrong. They're probably both in the wrong in most instances, but you're putting blame on my child. And Mama Bear is going to come out. Daddy Bear is going to come out, obviously. And that's what we're dealing with. So, yeah, I'm with you, Jeff. Let's step back. Let's let the school handle it as much as we can, because at the end of the day, to kind of what Matt was saying, like, what do we really have? We have a juvenile issue that is not a criminal. We're not talking about criminal masterminds dealing with, felonies, more than likely.
Without seeing another second of this, I would say, like, if I was her supervisor, and I have no idea how this ends, I would say you had an out. Why didn't you take it?
Yeah.
Regrettably, it could be something very regrettable.
Yeah, and it's a good point. There's a lot to learn from this. I hope to God that the people watching this, especially knowing Matt's audience and stuff like that are getting newer to what I'm throwing out there. I am also trying to train cops. I'm not just trying to train, and not in a forceful way. I'm trying to give you guys things to consider. But we end up teaching police a lot more than we ever teach the community, because I think you guys get it. It's the cops that don't have the same perspectives. It's not that they're wrong. They just haven't been shown the same things. So like in this, there are some departments out there that push, like, nobody tells you how to run your call, what to do. Like, there's still departments that do that shit. And I'm a big picture guy. What's the big picture? I've got no real offense here. I got kids fighting. That's what they do. Like, let's step back from that and let's try to learn and try to help. Let's figure out how we can mediate this. That's what we do as cops, especially SROs. Their whole fucking job is mediation for the most part.
Put out fires. That's what we
Put
do.
out fires. Yeah. So you want your best negotiators there. There's some departments that put their shithead cops as SROs because they want them off the streets.
Yeah, wow.
Which is a huge mistake. Don't do that. So if you want to hide them at dispatch. Let them be call takers. So let's let me look at the comments real quick. We got let's talk dirtbags. Way too many cops ride the ego train in every situation, and it's never going to de-escalate. The cop in this video's handling the decision was ego driven. I don't disagree. A lot of ego driven cops. I think also too, there are sometimes the ego is mistaken. It's mistaken for ego when it is just trying to control a call that they don't have a lot of control over. So we're always kind of at a disadvantage. We're expected to solve everybody's problems. So you do have to have a level of control on the call. So I do think sometimes cops get mistaken for ego when they're trying to just control the call so they can handle it and get the fuck out of there. But there is definitely a lot of times where it's ego for sure. And I think ego's being pressed a lot in this call.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're taking it. I didn't catch it the first time I went.
Take it.
Put it down right fucking now. Put it down right now.
Yeah, he definitely took her tail. Oh shit, I didn't see that the first time I watched this. When I watched this, it ended after she goes to the ground. That was all I seen. I didn't see all this. So this is new to me as well. Okay. Banning, is your shit caught back up?
I think I'm good now. I'm going out and coming back in.
Okay, did you see that part where he took her taser, knocked her down, took her taser?
Yep, I just saw that part.
Okay, how are you? What are you doing from here?
Being her,
Mm-hmm.
I would hope to God I would never be in that situation. Usually when I pull those tasers out, I'm messing with a cat and getting to go after them because I don't taser people much. But
you big bastard.
I'm going to wish that I went through better training. I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay.
This is horrible situation.
Okay, fair enough. Matt, I can see Matt's little smirk going. What do you got?
I just everything's wrong about that. The close quarters, the all kind of people around it. This literally just got escalated from a pushing contest during recess to a deadly force situation. And
right,
what are we watching?
Did we create the exigency as a cop? Did we? This is a question that needs to be asked.
He had every out.
Go ahead, Matt.
I think she had every opportunity just to swallow her ego and say, I'll be whatever names you want to call, but I'm not going to escalate this any further. And we can talk another day.
Yeah. Guys, cops listening to this, the moment you start feeling an emotional way about your call, you need to step back.
Yeah.
You need to step back. It's very hard to recognize if you're not used to that practice. I have caught myself getting pissed off at somebody's mouth while I'm on a call. And I recognize it because I've trained myself to do so. It's on nobody else but you. You got to train yourself. You can't expect somebody else to do it for you. Train yourself to recognize when you're getting, just for the woke people, triggered, whatever you want to call it. We're all human. We all allow things to get under our skin. And the moment you start letting that happen, step back and try to get somebody else, especially in this situation. You've got a ton of staff there. This is what they do all day long. They have to deal with a bunch of kids that they can't put their hands on. And Lord knows we want to put our hands on some of these kids with their mouths. And so there's no better people than school staff to ask to step in. Hey, can you talk to these parents? I've talked to them on the legal side. Other than that, this is out of my hands. This is all school policy shit. It's not that hard. Step back. We have to own up as cops. We have to, yes. Do I absolutely have a right to draw my gun from here? Sure. You took my taser. That's not reasonable, But how can we improve? Well, we shouldn't have got here. That's the Monday morning quarterbacking of this part. I fully admit it. We try to avoid it, but if we're going to improve, we also have to acknowledge it. So, Eric, what do you got?
Yeah, I say certain situations you got to learn how to be the bigger person and let them go away from. And also, like I said, I've learned that when you deal with these type of situations, you got to find somebody with a calm head. Like if you go into a domestic amongst family, you find the calmest family member that you know that can calm everybody down. Give talk to. If you have a principal that's good with their parents and stuff, you get them in that room. I say in most cases like that, you should have somebody in the room with you anyway. Like I say, because the school I work for, we had 2 officers. Like I say, we're dealing with parents or anything like that. We're going to have 2 officers in there. One's going to be at the door, one's going to be there. But as the parents leaving the school, just let them go. I said they can talk, scream as long as they're leaving and walking out and then aggressing back towards me. You have a good day. Don't be saying anything else.
Yeah.
Don't say anything else. Don't even give a smirk or anything like that. I say if most of the case you could just walk off and just make sure they leave, watch your camera, wherever, they'll know that. But I mean, after this happened and she gets knocked down, then her taser's taken, it turns into a different situation. Like I said, it didn't being in a school with somebody with a weapon. It just creates a whole lot of different situations that you don't want to happen that could have been avoided.
Yeah. And I want to point out a comment Craig Baker just said. He said, I think y'all are onto something with reviewing body cams. I don't think the public gets to see these candid perspectives along with other police officers being able to see the tools you use to de-escalate. Very humanizing to those who protect us. That is exactly the point we're trying to do here. That's one of the things that I think is revolutionary. I think
why is it so much fun?
Yeah, it's why it's fun. 2, I think it's an angle that it wasn't intentional. I did this, guys. This fully started with me sitting at my computer trying to learn how to do a podcast, drinking a little too much whiskey, and I was like, I'm gonna go fucking live and I'm gonna watch a body cam video. And I'm like, oh, how does Donut Operator do it? I don't want to do what he did. And this, I swear to you, that's how this started. And then I was like, who am I? I'm nobody. Let me get other people that actually know what the fuck they're talking about. And then lo and behold, I started finding like-minded cops out there. I found out that I wasn't this siloed, unique unicorn that I was hoping I would be. There's a lot of us. I think most of us think this way. We just don't know how to articulate it. Then you get your standouts like Eric and Banning and Matt. We have a way of talking to the public where there's a lot of officers, I think, that think the same way we do. They just don't know how to articulate it the same way. We have a gift. We have a gift to be able to talk to the public, whether we want to acknowledge it or not, be humble, whatever. So that's kind of the point of what we're getting when we do this is we want to show both sides. We want to call out both sides. We want to help fix both sides through education, perspective, humanizing, all that shit. So Michael Riley said, if you all were chief, would you reprimand and retrain her or would you send her on her way? I am all about, are you recoverable? This is Eric Levine's stance on things. Are you recoverable? And what I mean is what you did something that we can fix, or was it so reprehensible that there's no recovering from that? Did you shoot at somebody? Blah, 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 blah. In this instance, I'm on the fence with this one. I really am. I'm on the fence with this one. I don't know enough about this person. So me as the chief, I want to know more about my people. I want to know the background of this person. She was just called a dyke and stuff like that. That's another factor to consider. Has this person been struggling with their sexuality? And like, we're human too. We're definitely vulnerable. So I know it's kind of getting in the weeds, but I can't tell you just from seeing this video. I'm on the fence. I do think ego was triggered for sure. But I don't know the end. I don't know if this guy gets shot now. He dropped the taser, so I hope not. But sorry. I just inhaled a fly.
Local call right there. Newports.
Seriously, a fly flew in my fucking mouth. Holy shit. This is little.
Gag reflex.
Yeah. We can insert the jokes right now.
Oh, shit.
Not going to go there.
I went to breathe in the talk and it just was like, whoop. I was like, God.
I got like 10 gag reflex jokes right now.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
A fly set me off. I'm good.
Yeah. Beginner. If you let a fly do that, man.
Fucking beginner. Oh, shit.
Rookie.
I know how Eric's ex felt. Yeah, I got him too, baby. You can send him out. I can bring him back. So yes, that's how I kind of stand on that. Matt, I'm going to let you go, then Banning, then Eric. So Matt, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I would say it would be a totality. It's her bosses. It's mandatory that her bosses would know her background and know a lot more about her than we do. This call alone, just watching it, it was, in my opinion, an absolute grade F. and escalating and letting it get to this point. I think it's a little ridiculous.
Yeah. Banning, go ahead.
Why do we continue to let it ride in reference to basic training for officers? So the head, I don't even know what department this is. I don't know how many school resource officers they have in districts. So how did we get here? You know, if I was the lieutenant over this division, if you will, the main person that's going to have to answer the chief for my officer's actions in the school, how do we get here? How was training failed? How do we fail her that eventually failed the public on this? And we've got to fix that. So we got to fix ourselves as trainers before we can just go attack her as an officer, because we got to look at it. Do we fail her first? Do we give her all the training? Did she get the proper basic training? Did she get de-escalation training? Was it just check the box? Or do we actually give that person training? So that's where departments fail in a lot of sense on these.
Eric, what do you got, man?
Yeah, first I had to look at her background, see has incidents like this occurred before. Additionally, like I say, I tell people all the time, like even like I learned with FTO and all that stuff, doesn't matter how much you practice when you're inside a classroom until you've been out there in those type of situations and you felt that type of aggression, you don't know how you're going to act. Now, granted, that doesn't give them the opportunity to do anything they want to, but you got to know how you're going to react to those type of situations. You got to learn how to, calm down, let situations go. But you got to take, like you said, the totality of everything that's going on. Has she been in those situations before? Who was the trainer? Was it just one of those classes where you just sign a roll call and you just sit around in class? Like I say, it's kind of hard to simulate these type of things in training, but you got to try your best. Like I say, situations like this is going to rise. People are going to try to take you there verbally, and they're going to try to make you react to what they're saying. And I say, you just got to be above it all. I'm not going to say that we're all perfect and we're going to let it happen, but like I say, you got to fall back on your training. And like I say, that comes back to your training. Do your supervisor talk to you about these situations and has something like this happen before? Like I say, if she's like 2 or 3 days on the job, I mean, then you have work to do. I mean, but she hasn't had that type of situation. But she's like a 10-year veteran, and situations like this keep happening, then something needs to happen to her.
Yeah, that's a good point, too. If you've got 10, 15 years on the job, like your excuses really start to get smaller and smaller.
Yeah. Wonderful. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But everybody's allowed to have a bad day. So this is kind of bringing the point to a head is that I think we really have a problem in today's age of just trying to cancel people all the way across and fire people for every little thing. Like, fucking relax, guys. Can we fix it? Is it something that's worthy of being fixed? Like, it's not just for cops. I want that for everybody. You're at Subway and you tell a person to go fuck themselves because they're being difficult. I don't want you fired. I want you to have a few days off. Let it hit you in the paycheck a little bit. Maybe get a little bit of, training. Maybe have your manager figure out what the deal was. Maybe you just had a bad day. Like shit happens. We're all human. So I want a lot more forgiveness in every aspect, even in law enforcement. But to Matt's point, at one point that we've had on the show, the last show is like, there are some things that just you got to go. Like there's no excuse. Like it doesn't matter if it was, bad intentions or good intentions. You just didn't realize there are certain things that it doesn't matter. You got to go. Like there's a lot of jobs out there. Law enforcement ain't for you. Mm-hmm. And if that involves violating somebody's, constitutional rights, like that is one of those things that we need to heavily consider getting rid of you. Now, if we're arguing law, when we brought this up in the last episode, and I got a lot of good feedback on this, Matt, but when we started talking about laws that involve some sort of articulation and description and perspective, and we talked about how, running a stop sign, it's black and white. You either did or you don't. Your wheels either came to a complete stop or they didn't. And then we got things like disorderly conduct, which have some subjectiveness to it. Like that's where we start getting into the weeds. Is this law that we're talking about, does it have some subjectiveness to it? Well, if that's the case, the court's job is to feel that out, not us. We interpret the law the way that we kind of know and we're taught and apply, but the court's job is to figure out if we were right or wrong. If we're wrong, now we learn from it and we know, okay, I can't do that again. That was fucking wrong. We're not lawyers. So things to consider, guys.
Yep.
We got a lot of good feedback on that on the last episode. I had a lot of people like, oh my God, I never thought of it that way. Honestly, guys, I never thought of it that way until we had the discussion. The disorderly conduct thing just kind of came in my head. And I'm like, man, I've been called, like, I think it was the Renetta Williams lady earlier that was talking about disorderly conduct. Like, you guys use that for everything. It's subjective.
Yeah. A lot of things fit under it.
A lot of things fit under it. So it just depends. So things to consider. All right, let's we haven't even finished this video. I want to kind of see how it finishes. So let's see here. It's Biggie says. And we're gonna finish this out.
Put your hands behind your fucking back! Put your hands behind your fucking back now!
Mira tu hijo.
Put your hands behind your fucking back now!
Piensa en tu hijo.
Yeah, please. Thank you.
All right. She had the gun out that whole time. She jumped right into that double lock. She wasn't playing around. No more. Let me stop sharing. Okay, so the way that finished, he complied, but we held our gun on him with two civilians in between them. I'm all about a high, low. What do they call that? Eric, you're the attack guy. What do they call this thing?
Yeah, low ready, high ready.
Low ready, yeah. I'm all about being in the low ready. Cool. But she was out.
Yeah, man.
Flagging folks. Jesus.
Yeah, she needs to be out.
Say it, Matt. Say it with your chest.
That's just bad. I don't know from start to finish. That was ugly. So ugly. Yeah. And you gotta understand that in an SRO position. And just for the record, I've been SRO for 2 years. All of my trolls out there, I did everything under the sun. Been a cop 21, just the last two. I'm gonna write out my career because I love doing this. But you're on a hot seat with every staff member, every student in there, the school board. They're all watching you. In a bad incident, you won't believe, if I was to even say a curse word at a kid, it would be all over the school. Some kid probably would have filmed it secretly.
Right.
It is such a sensitive area. And like she just every step of that way was totally bombed.
Yeah. How often, you guys all tell me this, how often have people come up to you and say, name a badge number? Good boy. Has that happened yet?
It's happened to me.
I was putting my shirt.
So I had it happen to me recently. I work in an entertainment district, for those that aren't familiar. And it's the first time somebody tried to do it to me, but I was well aware of the TikTok trend. So I went off script. He's like, what's your name and badge number? And he's with all his boys, and I can see him filming. And I said, hold on real quick. I just got a call. Can you tell me what time it is? And he's like, it's, such and such. And I was like, good boy. And you see all his boys like, oh shit, like just threw him off of his game. They thought it was the funniest thing. I stole that because I saw an English Bobby do that to somebody on a TikTok.
So is that the trend? They when you say your number, they say good boy, like your dog?
That's the trend. So they'll say good boy. And I'm like, I don't care. I think it's funny. But I was trying to find a way to mess with them, and get them to laugh. I'm about laughs.
That's actually brilliant, Eric.
Yeah, I'm a laughs guy. So other cops, if you're listening, just try to distract them the best way you can. I did it with saying, hey, I just got a call. Can you just tell me what time it is? And the guy was like, oh yeah, it's 11:35. I'm like, okay, cool, good boy. And then you throw them off their game because they had this whole plan to get you, and they can't take it back because they were recording you. You just got them on video. So I'm hoping to see that one out here soon. I hope they catch that. I hope they put it out.
I got 6 daughters that roast me, humiliate me every day. So I say good. If they say good boy, I'll tag me in that. Can I get tagged? I'll tag. I'll share it.
Girl,
I got no pride left.
Yeah, daughters or kids?
I got 6 daughters and 1 son.
Jeez. Oh my God,
man! Been using your hips.
Your man is going to be doing police work for the rest of his life.
Girl,
they're all bullies.
Weddings to pay for. Holy shit! How old's your oldest?
26. My youngest is 6.
Okay. Bro, you should have got snipped a long time
Oh
ago.
yeah. Tell me about it.
You gotta say no. Jesus.
Dang. See, if
Good
you're
boy.
as big as yeah, good
Yeah,
boy.
good.
That's great.
6 girls. Goodness.
Oh Lord. Yeah, if you're as big as Banning, you only have boys. There's no other option. You know the old man. You have girls.
Oh man.
Hey, I've got a 9-year-old little girl that's got me wrapped around her pinky finger, man. So
There you go.
It really is wonderful. It is.
Yeah, I've got 2
Sorry,
girls.
Daddy.
I have no boys, and yeah, I love it. I wanted boys so bad when I was young and in the military, and I wanted to have boys. And I was like, when I had the first girl, like within 6 months, I was like, this is way better. Like this is way better than having boys. You know, just cleaning up alone is easier, and then dealing with boys in general because I grew up with all boys, and I don't wish that on my worst enemy now that I look back as a dad.
That's it's funny. My son was he's 24 now. He was that was back before the blood test days. It was the ultrasound days, and both ultrasounds said he was a girl too. So that was a shock to my life. He's supposed to be a girl. So.
You just bought all this shit and you didn't even need
it. His name was going to be Madeline, and turned out he popped out with twig and berries, and that was actually a great moment for me.
Guess we're Matt now.
Yeah, that's what he is. He's little Matt.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, he is.
He went from Madeline to Matt. That's
Matt
what I
Jr.
would have done. That makes sense. I like Danny's thoughts. He said Matt is a Mormon. LOL. Oh shit, that's funny. Edu said cops make false allegations and prosecutors use it as a sole evidence to prosecute you. The court system is completely broken. I'm going to push back on you with that, Edu. I just kind of had this conversation the other day. I think that the prosecutors are depending way too heavily on body cam footage, and we're going to get to the point where an officer's word is not enough. And I think that is a travesty. Is that the right word? Travesty. I think don't agree with that. Because sometimes shit happens and all we have is our word. And that is also true for victims. When you have a rape victim, they didn't have body cam footage of it. And if they can't show it on video, it didn't happen. We're starting to get on a slippery slope. So I think a person's word is just as valuable. And saying that false allegations by some cops, sure. I think all bad cops weed themselves out. Sometimes really fast, sometimes really slow, but bad cops weed themselves out. It just takes cops like us to call them out when we see it, not after the fact. And I think that has been a popular thing. It's a growing thing. I don't want to say a popular thing. I think that's growing. I think we're holding each other more accountable these days. And it's getting better and better. We're always improving. Let me put it that way. I think police work's improving. But I told you guys before, I'm an optimistic guy. Maybe I'm completely clouded. I don't know. Eric, what was that, Matt?
I can see a shift. You see a shift.
Yeah.
Change doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow shift.
Definitely not.
And I mean, if we're going to look historically speaking at police work, it really, I truly believe this. It has always improved. It's always gone up. It's just had its dips and it's a rise, but it, just like the stock market in the Americas, it's always kind of went up.
Hey, Levine, let's let McCants let people know how they can find him online. He's got a cutout. He's got an early day in the morning.
Oh, I'm sorry, brother. Yeah, go ahead, man.
Like I said, I don't have too many social media. Like I said, my biggest social media platform that I use is going to be my LinkedIn. Like I say, I reached my connections limit, but anybody can follow me on there. Like I say, you just type in my name, Eric McCants, and it should pop up. I appreciate the opportunity. Look forward to doing it again if you have me on. And y'all fellas, y'all stay safe.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, brother.
We'll see you next time.
I got to kind of do the same thing. Eric, Mama's over there waiting.
All right. No worries. I hear you, brother. I appreciate you. Matt, make sure you tell everybody really quick before Matt goes, I kind of want to put this announcement out there. We talked about it on the last one, but I didn't want to kind of make the announcement yet official. But just so you guys know, Matt is officially a part of our Two Cops, One Donut stuff. We are working together to get all of our social media stuff in one collaboration. We've got ourselves surrounded by like-minded cops. We got Banning, me, Daniel from Police Law News, and then Matt Thornton. We are in the business of trying to improve police work, whether that's holding bad cops accountable or holding good cops accountable by showing the good works that they're doing. So that's what we're in the business of doing. I think we're in a very unique niche, and I cannot wait to see what we can put together with the way that we are doing things right now. I've never seen anybody doing this, and having Matt on, having Banning, I think we got a good head start, and this is exciting. So Matt, thanks for being a part of it, and let your people know.
I'm honored. I can't wait to get more. I don't want to go. I just have to.
He's trying to keep the peace at home.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And just so people know, I want to give you guys kind of three cops, one donut. Exactly. I'm trying to give you guys an idea of what we got coming down the pipe with Matt. I want Matt. You've heard enough of my voice. I promise you that. I want Matt to have his own podcast part with the Two Cops, One Donut. So I'm trying to get him set up so he can interview the people he wants to interview. I'll do all the editing and all that shit. I'll be in the background. You won't even know I'm there, but we will get it posted. We'll put it on the website. We'll put it on all of our platforms, and it'll be Matt Thornton's podcast part. It'll be Banning's podcast part, whatever it is. But hearing all of our perspectives, I think, is the best way to go. It's a collective. So, Matt, I appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you too, man. I love you guys. And hey, put that pen down. Hey.
Yeah, his wife is getting that. So, all right, brother.
I love you guys. I hit you up.
Yep.
Appreciate it. We'll see you next time.
We're going to keep going here, though, for those looking. Jeff Parrish said, Jason, maybe for some finalization and clarity, but the original content should also be saved. Don't need AI hallucinations in a report. I agree. I agree with what you're saying there. So let's talk about dirtbags. Not enough cops calling out the bad. I want to put this.
It doesn't get amplified. There is a lot of good cops calling out the bad, but they don't have a platform.
Yeah, and here's the other thing that I'm just going to give you a small fishbowl of where I'm at and what I've seen at my department. 2,000 plus cops, 1 million plus people. I have seen in the last 13 years at least one, and there's been multiple in on some years. One cop be fired, charged, convicted. One of the three. Every year that I've been here, every single year. That's one department. So it happens all the time. You just don't hear about it. Why? Because nobody cares about cops doing their job. Nobody cares about cops holding other cops accountable. You're never going to hear about it because the media doesn't push it. I'm not bullshitting you. If you message me on the side, I will give you the information you need to look at and see if what I'm telling you is true at my department. I just can't talk about and say what my department is on here. They have to be separated. So it happens. I promise you it happens. Are there instances where cops aren't? Sure. Absolutely. But there's a lot of cops that do. And there's a lot of departments that they just can't say anything. There's officers that can't say shit. I know my general orders. I know what I can and I can't say. I know what I can do and not do. I've been doing this 4 years now. So I can get away with doing these lives. There's not a lot of cops that have the skill set to do this for other people to listen, grow a platform, kind of what Banning was saying, and get you to hear this stuff. So there's a lot of cops saying it. You just don't hear it. I'm sorry. That's my impression. And again, I step back a little bit because I'm an optimistic guy. And I understand that optimism sometimes clouds my own personal judgment. What do you got, Banning?
Same thing. I believe all bad guys belong in jail. I believe all bad cops belong in the same place. And, you know, it tarnishes us. It tarnishes us all, man.
Danny said, "You are now the media." You're not wrong. I am the media. Fuck. How the tables have turned. Guys, just so you know, I got Officer Alan Nelson in the back here. He is one of our behind the scenes guys. He is no longer in law enforcement, but was prior law enforcement and now works for a law enforcement company that makes law enforcement products called RGB. But he's our behind the scenes guy. Sergeant Levine, what years were you in Saginaw? I was up in Saginaw in 2010 to 2013-ish, 12. I was up there. And then I came down here to Texas. I was in Flint basically my whole life.
And we welcomed him with open arms.
Yeah. Brian Klinkenbeard. Now that Brian is on here, I'm going to say, Brian, I cannot read this dude. He says stuff on my LinkedIn all the time. I can't tell if he's being sarcastic. I can't tell if he's being funny. I can't tell if he's being serious. He messes with my brain so much I get frustrated with him. So Brian, I know that you get to actually hear me now versus me typing. You frustrate me because I can't read you. Fucker. He said, good. Anything. I didn't even read what he said. Good. Anything does not get the media clicks and ad revenue. The stuff that incites is sensational. Yeah, absolutely. So, let's see. Danny said, I'm going to sleep now. I got to get up at 4:30. Hey, Danny, I appreciate you tuning in, man.
Thanks for being on.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. A lot of those that were with Matt's crowd and Eric's crowd, we definitely appreciate you. We usually only do this for about 2 hours, but we have found in the last couple episodes, me and Banning, we end up having a good time, and we go for 3-4 hours. So it's up to y'all. I've got more videos queued. No, I don't. Oh yeah, I do. I have some more videos queued up, but
yeah, we've only done 2.
I know. It's just kind
crazy.
of well, we had the echo problem, awesome. Remember?
Yeah.
So we did the knife guy, we did the school person, and then we have this lady, the one that was the very first video we were going to do. I'll do that next. I'm just looking at what people have to say. Brian said, that is my intent. Constitutional Country Girl, abolish qualified immunity. I am glad you brought this up. This was brought up in the last live, and I'm letting you know we're not going to touch that on the live right now because I'm in the works of making a full out live episode where we talk about qualified immunity with an expert that is for and an expert that is against. I will fully admit I am a non-expert. I know a little bit. I know why against from some people, but I'm not educated enough to sit there and have a full out debate on why it's good, why it's bad. I can just tell you what I think. So, I want some experts to be on here. I want you guys in the audience to be able to talk to them and get your points across and have somebody that can talk about it from an educated perspective versus me. I'm an idiot. I have my own ideas and beliefs about it, but can be changed with new information. So we'll see how that goes. But Danny said, good night, guys. Stay safe. Remember the Constitution and rights of the public. No victim, no crime. I like it, buddy. Hey, I swore the oath twice. So did Banning. Both were military guys. Alan, were you military?
I was not.
Not military.
Straight out of high school and started working on cars.
I like it. So, yeah. Let's see. Edu said, looking forward to that debate. I think the grass both sides, but I don't agree with qualified immunity.
And that's why we're going to have a big discussion on this. And I think it'll be good to have that recorded. People can go back and watch it, but we're going to be bringing the right experts from all sides. So we can talk about it. We can lay it out. We can let everybody understand. And I believe Eric and I will even understand it more. We know what it is in reference to law enforcement.
Yeah.
But it's time for everybody to understand a little bit more before they're quick to abolish something that is qualified. Anyway, we'll go into it on that day.
Yeah. And I think I'll give you a preview of kind of my view on it. I do think that qualified immunity, if it's applied properly, it does the same thing of those that want to get rid of qualified immunity. However, there have been courts that have not been using it properly, or they have not been applying it the way that it's supposed to be applied, and that has caused a problem. So that's my preview of it. So, but let's get to the next video. I am still coughing from that fucking fly. I can feel it. I can still feel it, like right there, right in my.
So the next time I come to the studio, you're telling me to bring a fly swatter to make sure I don't go through this.
For those that don't know, I've had a trach before, so I
same here.
Feel it in my trach hole.
Somebody was asking where your whiskey was to wash it down earlier.
Oh, my whiskey's right here. I'm still rocking some Smoke Wagon.
They said that would take it away.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm still drinking Smoke Wagon Original with the Halloween bottle. It's almost gone. But trust me when I tell you, I've got 2 more bottles in the house. One of the younger and one of the holiday bottle. So for Christmas. Fuck. Anyway, let's get to this video. Share screen and share. All right, let's go.
Police were dispatched to investigate the report of a disturbance outside a local apartment complex in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Witnesses described a 55-year-old woman shouting and threatening bystanders. As the situation escalated, she allegedly approached an individual and directed racist remarks toward them. Once police finally arrived, she showed no hesitation in expressing her thoughts.
Cross Police, what's the issue?
So, you don't have no family members left? Is that what's
She's
going
just
on?
going on about some racist.
Racist? I'm talking to you about your family members. How's that racist?
Was she saying racial things to you?
No, that's it.
I have a bunch of videos I can check, but it's somewhere along the lines of, did you see how red this country was?
Yeah. Did you not see how red this country was when they
I'll
voted?
talk to you over here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's red. Is that...
All right, I'm going to pause it from there. There was a police technique used right there. Alan, since you're coming from behind the scenes, sir, what did you just see happen there?
De-escalation, separate the parties.
There you go. I like that. That is a common technique that we try to do, because all too often when 2 parties are having an argument, whatever it is, one's going to hear the other person saying, well, they did this, and they instantly try to defend themselves. She automatically started chiming up and from hearing what the guy was trying to say about her. So, yeah, separate them. They're obviously not together. This isn't a domestic. This is 2 strangers. So, Banning, what do you got?
Same thing. We got to separate it and find out what's going on. Do we have another crime other than the name calling? And depending on the city ordinances that are there, we may be able to set them up to where they can go to court and speak to each other if a Class C type violation may have been committed, and allow the court to separate that, but get them separated for the night so nothing else happens. And that's where I think we need to be done with it.
Yeah. For me, I'm going to tell you right now, me, as this call is developing, I'm doing everything in my power to just be like, be an adult, go the other way. You be an adult, go the other way. Don't talk to each other because they're strangers. That's me. I'm telling you how I'm seeing this call right now without seeing how it develops. That's how I would handle this. So
seems like she's pushing her opinion onto him.
Yeah. And she seems drunk. That's just me, or high or crazy. One of the 3. He seems completely reasonable so far. Yep. And understanding. So
A big thing?
You got ID on you, boss?
Not on me, but this is my car. I think it's...
Can you grab it?
My daughter's 4 years old.
Oh, you sons of bitches.
I am an anti-racist educator, quote unquote. She's still watching Disney.
I'm an anti-racist.
Do you see why we need the stars?
What's that?
So do you see why we need the stars? We can get ad-free YouTube eventually someday.
I know. Yes, please. Yeah, that's, guys, the future of what we're trying to accomplish here is we're trying to make a little bit of money just so we can be ad-free.
What's going on?
Nothing.
Well, why are we getting calls about you?
Because he got hurt feelings.
About what?
I don't know. Ask him.
Okay. Do you live here?
No, I was walking through and he got hurt feelings. He said, hold on, I'm calling the cops. I said, okay.
What are his feelings hurt about?
Because I told him it don't matter who's president.
Okay.
The president's going to fix the country. Oh, you're prejudiced. No, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
And then it went on.
I gotcha. Do you have ID on you?
No.
What's your name?
I ain't giving you nothing. I want to talk to an attorney.
Okay.
I want to talk to a lawyer right now at this moment.
Do you have a lawyer?
I'll get one.
Okay.
Or book me in and I'll find one.
What?
Book me in and I'll find one.
Okay.
All right. What I just learned from this call, she has dealt with the system before, and she knows her rights. Because as of right now, she's 100% correct. I don't have a lawful reason to ID her.
We don't have management sitting there saying we don't want this person. We don't even know if it's fenced in or public has access or what the deal is with it. But
yeah,
it's nothing right now.
Yeah, right now this is a nothing call, and she's 100% right about her rights. You don't have a reason to ID her, so she doesn't have to fucking give it to you. If you want it, book her in. Now you got ID because you've been arrested. That is the definition of failure to ID. You have to be under arrest, at least in the state of Texas. I can't speak for another place. Sounds like it's pretty similar across the country, but you don't have a reason to ID her. She, despite her being drunk, she does seem drunk. You may be able to articulate that we have, public intoxication, but is she a danger to herself and others? Right now, I don't have that articulation. That's the only time the public intoxication really comes into play. You could be drunk. It's not a log. It's just being drunk. It's when you become a danger to yourself and others. And speaking your mind and being a loudmouth, like.
Now, she could have been a danger to herself if she would have said that to the wrong person. And would have got, any type of slurs like they were saying in the beginning with, it could have escalated. Thank God it didn't go there.
But does saying racial slurs make you a danger?
No.
By dropping racial slurs, I don't say that necessarily makes you a danger. It just makes you a dickhead.
Yeah, absolute ass to begin with.
Yeah, it's not a law against being an asshole. You can say racial slurs. I don't recommend it. So eventually somebody's going to check you, and nobody's going to feel bad for you when you get hit. But
and then in Texas, that's a whole different disorderly conduct.
Right. It can be articulated that way. But like I said, for me right now, if I were on this call, I have nothing. I'm going to say, hey, dude, can you do me a favor? Can you just go to your apartment? And, if I don't have an offense on view, and can you go the other way, lady? You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. That's how I'm going to handle it so far.
What's your plan for the rest of the night?
I'm going home. That's where I was going, but he wanted me to hang out here to talk to you.
Gotcha.
Well, I don't know. He said, hang out here. I'm calling the cops. Okay. Why you want me to talk to you? I don't know.
So what happened, man?
So I'm coming out. I'm going to get groceries, and she came up to me and she was like, "Can I ask you something?" She's like, "These girls, I was trying to talk to them. They ran inside like I was gonna." Okay, so I keep walking, and she starts talking to me about how red it is, how I'm invading.
Arrest me. I'll go. No problem.
Why do you want to go to jail?
Mm-hmm.
Did you do anything?
I don't want to go to jail. He wants me to go to jail.
Did you?
She's kind of a smart drunk person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what she knows and what she's saying, like, she's not wrong so far. I don't agree with what she was doing, but she's not wrong. She's not wrong so far.
Do you think she's cold?
Anything physical?
Do I think she's what?
Do you think she's cold and wants to go to jail?
That's possible. She could be homeless and it's cold outside and she's looking for a ride. That's definitely possible. But I don't get that, because if that was the case, she would be making this a lot easier for you to arrest her. She's telling you, like, if you want my ID, then you're going to have to arrest me. This guy wants me to go to jail, I don't want to go to jail. Like, she's on point. I'm going to give her a little credit.
Did anything
You
physical?
acting stupid. Ask me a real question, ignorant fool.
Yeah, you've had quite a bit to drink tonight, haven't you?
No, I haven't.
I can smell it coming from
No, I have had a drink, but what I'm saying is you asking stupid. Like President Trump said, you a Democrat. You acting stupid, asking stupid questions.
I don't think Trump ever
He
said
asked
that.
me over here to talk to you.
Highly, highly don't recommend as a cop to ever let yourself get engaged in political comments like that. I don't think Trump ever said, no, don't even do that. Just keep your mouth shut.
I come over here to talk to you.
I'd start taking videos and she's like, "No, I didn't say that." I'd take the phone down. She's like, yellow, just talking. She's like, "What are you alone in the country? Do you have your family?" It's like just absolute nonsense.
What you trying to figure out, bro?
Anything physical?
Sorry. I did not mean to.
Happen between you guys?
No, I don't like him. He's not sexy. I'm not attracted to him.
Did you punch him?
Punch him?
Yeah.
Did he punch me?
That's what I'm trying to
Why
figure
don't you
out.
go ask him?
I'm asking you.
Then I got to the point, I was like, I'm trying to leave. And she's like, get in the car. I swear I won't do anything. I was like, I don't want to touch the car.
Do you want to pursue charges?
No.
Sure.
I mean, what is the process?
It'll be a ticket.
What charges are you going to press?
Can I ask what's the? Were you offended? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, you could if you got it, because he said he had it on video of her using racial slurs. So in Texas, anyway, the
You may go back, Eric, because he may have said something about punching.
I didn't catch that.
And then you're assault by threat. I mean, you're really stretching though.
Okay,
So,
Right. No, I
Again.
agree.
Again, like I said, if that's where we're going,
Okay, then, yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
He did. He touched me.
Okay.
He pushed me like this.
He pushed you?
Yeah.
Did you push him?
You know better. No, we didn't touch each other. Why are you acting stupid and asking stupid questions?
Ma'am.
okay, she may have had something to drink. This may be her demeanor, but I'm gonna say my lady is deceptively put together. So far, are you getting the same vibe, or is it just me?
No, I agree with you.
I think
She's been around.
deceptively clever. I really like she is pushing the knowledge of these cops in a healthy way. And
She's one of those that when you can articulate well, you can have a great conversation. with.
yes, like I am very impressed with this lady right now. I'm very impressed with her. I like this. This is a cool way to handle yourself without being an asshole. Like, I don't think she's been rude. I don't think any of that so far. I really like this so far.
Ignorant.
Did you get a name?
No, he's asking stupid. No, I'm not giving you an ID.
Okay, so
Are you ready to see your brand on TV? Your competitors will wish they had known.
You know what
about
my
Vibe.
competitor
With Vibe,
wishes?
you can
I
launch
hate
targeted
That's
TV.
what he wishes right now.
here's the thing.
Didn't take me to jail. I'm not giving you an ID.
Here, let me.
Okay, is she wrong? She doesn't have to give an ID. She's not under arrest. I mean, in Texas. So I can only speak for Texas, but it's not a traffic stop. You don't have a reason to give an ID on a traffic stop here. So, and
I think we've investigated this further enough where we can go ahead and say, ma'am, you're free to go unless somebody else is picking up on something, and maybe it'll clear itself out. And then
right.
For the naysayers that want to talk about alcohol, that's going to give you an opportunity to watch her walk to make sure she can get home safely.
Yeah.
Where do you live? Beat your feet.
Yep. Yeah. Unless she is falling over, I don't care if she sways and kind of, gets a, what is it? Jack Sparrow walk. I don't care if she has anything worse than a Jack Sparrow walk. I'm letting her go. So, Marine Blood, that ad was for you, Eric. Your brand needs to be on TV. Get the fuck out of here. Fuck that guy. Bullshit ad.
You don't want a couch? Come on.
I remember a YouTube. I'm going to go back on my pedestal. I remember a YouTube when I didn't have to watch ads. So, sorry. Showing my age.
I'm not giving you an ID. He asked me over. He talking stupid, called me a white crank. What the f is a crank?
Okay.
Well, what the f is a crank?
I have no idea.
Ask him.
I'm trying to talk
Ask
to you
him.
Here. Okay. So
she got a little gangster to her. I like her. She's got a little hood gangster to her.
No, you coming over here threatening is what you're doing. Once you bring them shoulders back and quit acting like I'm the criminal, huh? How about that?
Are you done talking?
How about you be done talking?
Well, you haven't given me an
Well,
opportunity
no,
to talk.
because you already took his side. So bring your shoulders down because they don't scare me. Those in I know.
Well, I'm just
This
trying to
lady's
talk to you. I'm not
awesome.
trying to
Well,
scare
then
you.
talk.
I'd love to know
and quit
his last name.
like that at me because it don't work. Makes me more angry.
Bring your shoulders down, bitch. You got time for your bullshit. He called me a white crank. What the fuck is a white crank?
It's time to go. It's time to let these
I
go.
would have been off this call. So no, actually, I lie. Y'all know.
You would have been the guy that
I
would have
was
kept it
saying,
going.
I'd have just kept talking. Hey, dude, you need to go. Get the fuck out of here. I'm talking to this lady because she's awesome. I would have
You need to
talked
go
to
to
this
the
lady
grocery
all
store,
night
dude.
long. I am that cop. I am the one that
Mm-hmm.
people get annoyed with because Levine's over there talking to the crazy guy that, you know, is trying to plant Christmas trees in the parking lot. Like,
I'm going to go to my car and do my accident report.
yeah, I love it. I absolutely, and everybody listen, I absolutely love these types of people. These are my people. This is who I like to talk to in the field because this is a person that has lived life in a different way and they just have a different way of talking. And I love this shit. So I'm a big fan of her right now. I'm gonna keep letting her talk.
When a man acts like they can dominate a woman, it's stupid.
Okay, we're just out here with you because it sounds like you were bugging some of the...
No, I was standing here. He came to me.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you made some inappropriate racial...
No, I didn't. That's what he said. I could tell you what he said. Would you believe me?
Well,
And say it sounds like
she
said, you said this.
What
Bullshit.
did he say to you?
No, it don't matter. In court of law, he said, she said bullshit. So don't bring that to me.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out what he said.
No.
Are you gonna... Do you have ID on you?
No, I'm not giving you ID.
God, how many times have they tried to get ID from her? She ain't falling for your bullshit. She doesn't have to ID and she knows it. I love her. I love this lady. She is awesome. She's like, no, I ain't giving you no fucking ID. Quit asking me. Now, I will say she's getting amped up. Like now she's starting to get amped up. So for me, I would be like, all right, okay, cool. Sorry, I'm out. You go your way. He's gonna go his way. I'm done. This is the last thing I want. I don't want to get anybody amped up. Professionally speaking. Alan, what do you got so far?
I agree with you 100%. She'd be the perfect one that you probably know her. So you're going to bring your rookie to during field training to, get to interact with her the next time because she's going to test all the buttons.
Yeah. Like Marine Blood said, sounds like a freedom of speech issue. I would agree. I'm not a fan of anybody going around throwing racial slurs or anything like that by any means. But at the end of the day,
I do think though, like me and you and Banning, probably all three of us, we could have gotten an ID from her just by changing the wording around. I mean, she didn't have to ID, don't get me wrong, but I think, hey, can we just be done with this? Can you just give me your ID and let's walk away from this?
Yeah, Derek Murphy said it. I may have missed it, but what did she say that was racist? All I heard was that she said the country is red. Did I miss something? They haven't played that part yet. He says he has it on video, but I have not heard anything racial yet. And I think she denied it. So again, she's not wrong. So he said, she said. Me personally, this is me, Alan. I wouldn't even have bothered with her ID. I don't give a shit.
I agree.
Could I have gotten her ID? I think maybe I could have talked her into it. But
that's what I'm saying.
I don't give a shit. I don't need your ID.
I agree.
Like, what's your street name? I'll go with that. I just think you're awesome. Like, I would have hyped her up. Like, good for you. And I'm not joking. Like, I do this. Like, on the street, I like people like this. I'll hype them up. Like, good for you, girl. I'm glad you know you're right. Like, you're not wrong. Like, good for you.
But next time you're on the street, she's going to be the one that comes up and high fives you in a different location and is like, hey, you remember me? And white hat, like.
Yeah, absolutely.
I ain't done nothing for you to ID me.
What's your name?
It don't matter. Ask him. He's the one that called you. You're going to put on gloves like, I'm going to arrest her. I got to put on gloves.
Like, she called him out.
She already knows.
She called him out. I love her.
Dude.
They're digging, man, and it's time to go.
Yeah, it's time to go. I'm not putting my gloves on. Why the fuck do I want to be here? I don't want to be here. This is not big picture. Cops, if you were listening, big picture. What are you going to solve with this? A lady that drank a little bit and is talking some shit?
Because you have a great witness that's already said he doesn't want to be involved.
Right.
So let's move on.
Right. And you're trying to talk him into it. Well, we can write her a ticket. Oh, that sounds so much simpler. You still got to go to court, dude. You omitted. You didn't even explain to him the full process. Yeah, I'm going to write her a ticket, but you are the complaining party. And then if the courts ask, you got to show up. Tell them the whole fucking story. That's how that works. You know, I tell them that whole story when I don't want to write a ticket. Hey, bro, I can write a ticket for this person, but this is how it's going to go. Prosecutor's going to call because you're the witness, and they're going to ask you to show up so you can point out as the accuser the person that you're complaining against. So with that said, do you still want this ticket written? Nah, I'm good. Cool. Now, what did Officer Levine just do? Officer Levine just saved the system some time on some bullshit. But if you got assaulted, you got somebody that really needs to be, you know, put away. This lady, she's lived life. You don't need to put her in no jail or write her no ticket for some bullshit. And she's telling you that.
Is that it? Is that what you're doing?
I just like my hands to be clean.
Let's go. He wants to arrest me. Let's go. He wants to arrest me.
So what's your name?
He wants to arrest me. Go ahead.
What's your name?
I ain't giving you that.
Okay, well, if you don't give me your name, you're going to go to jail.
All right, let's go.
Okay, place your hands.
That's not a charge, bro. That's not a fucking crime. You can't take somebody to jail just because they wouldn't give you their name. You can arrest them, ask them for their name, and then when they won't give it, it's another charge. It's a secondary charge, as somebody put in the comments earlier. Like, this is a common problem in police work. How the fuck do we not know this by now? It's frustrating because look at Matt Thornton's crowd. You get, you know, a crowd that big that is just like beyond frustrated.
Yep.
And I get it. They should be frustrated. Anyway, all right, let's keep going.
Be on your back. You're under arrest.
For what?
I didn't. I've done nothing wrong.
Why is everyone spiraling over YouTube banning ad blockers? Like, chill guys, just use Pi. It's a free Chrome extension that's actually made by one of the founders of Honey.
You're under arrest for obstructing, disorderly conduct.
I ain't done nothing.
And I don't know if you have any bonds or anything, or if you're on probation.
So that you're arresting her for that? You're under arrest for disorderly, obstructing, and I don't know if you have anything else, but I'm just going to fucking throw that out there.
It's a POP arrest.
That is a pissed off police arrest. POP. You guys are going to hear us say that a lot. It's a common phrase amongst police officers. You have absolutely 100% unequivocally fucked with this lady's rights. So, Tim said in Texas, that's 3802. And while we're talking about Texas 38, I'll look it up, sir. Texas.
I wonder if this PD has a code on the radio that wakes up the city manager and tells him to get the checkbook ready. Just guessing, man. I mean, I'm sorry, but I just got issues with it.
I do too. So, I'm putting it up there. Tim said that in Texas, that's 3802. So I'm putting it in the chat. And I'm going to put it up on the screen right now. 3802 is a law that covers failure to identify, refusing to identify. It's a crime to intentionally refuse to provide your name, address, date of birth to a law enforcement officer who has lawfully arrested or detained you. In this instance, lawfully is the question.
There's no reason to.
Yeah, from what's been said, I don't see a reason. Again, and this is where we get on odds with each other, and I'm trying to show, like, these officers legitimately believe that they have a legal reason to do what they're doing. I don't think they're being malicious. I don't think they're intentionally violating this lady's rights. This is what the courts are for. Let's let the courts work that out. It sucks that she has to go through that, but at the same time, I think these officers have been trained poorly, and they honestly think that they're doing what the law says to do. So, with that said, do I think that they need to be fired as cops? No, they need to be trained. This is recoverable. This is something we can learn from. They need to be shown a bigger picture. They need to be shown a different perspective. They need to be shown the law. The prosecutor needs to take part in this. The court system needs to take process in this. They need to take the time to show these cops, like, here's how that particular law would be interpreted in this instance. You fucked up and it's wrong. So, is this lady hurt, injured, anything like that? No. Could she win a little bit of money for this, for her inconvenience? Sure. But the officers need to learn from this as well. So that's kind of how I lean towards that. What'd Brian say? Clock starts as soon as they arrested and they don't comply to identify. I don't think she had a reason to identify. Just from what I've seen. I could be wrong. There may be something that they saw on video, the other officer that we're not seeing that's off screen, Maybe he saw something on video that was an offense and we didn't see it. Either way, they still need to tell her, hey, you're under arrest. Okay, hey, what's your name? Give us your stuff. And then she doesn't give it. Now we have failure to identify. The detention part, I think, starts to really play a role when it's for something like a traffic code violation. When we do a traffic stop, then you're required because you have to have certain things to drive a motor vehicle on the roadway. But in this instance, I don't think we have enough.
I'm just hoping that she becomes a fan, watches this, and gives me a ride in that brand new Lamborghini.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Constitutional Country Girl News. I'm glad you brought up Pennsylvania v. Mims. She says is abused constantly. It's not abused. I'm going to fight back with you on this one. It's not abused. The cops are using the ruling according to what the courts allow. Until the courts say, hey, that's not what we intended. This is how we meant it. They need to clarify. If the courts don't clarify, then the cops are going within what rules that they have available. Does that mean it's abused? I don't think it means it's abused. I think it means that the courts and everybody else needs to figure out specifically what they think Pennsylvania v. Mims needs to be. It hasn't been clarified, so the cops are following within the rules of what they have available. That doesn't mean it's abused. So the cops, they're behind the curve. I'm all for trying to keep cops, hold them accountable, but we're already behind the curve when it comes to people violating the laws and stuff like that. So whatever little advantages we have, should we not try to use them? It's just my thought. That's just, again, I understand where you're coming from, but we can only go by the laws that we have. So, and again, it gets into subjectiveness. Pennsylvania v. Mims, the courts ruled that it was based around safety and a safety sweep, but they never specified when you can pull somebody out of the car, when you can't. They just said, hey, during a traffic stop, it is reasonable to pull somebody out of the car. They didn't say it has to be for this, that, and the other. So that's where we're at with that right now. That's my understanding. I'm not a lawyer, by the way, and I could be 100% wrong. So going to the comments, Constitutional Country Girl News. By the way, cool name. I love it. I've seen so many times they pulled everyone out when they're offended. Likely that they may be offended, but they do have a right to pull you out of the vehicle. They can do that. That's what I'm saying. Pennsylvania v. Mims does not specify that it has to be for a safety sweep like a lot of people assume. That's not what it says. It was based around a safety case because they pulled him out. They're like, hey, I think this guy may have a gun. I want to pull him out to check. And then they said, yeah, they pulled him out for that reason. And we find that it is okay on a traffic stop to pull people out of the car. It is broad. So yes, exactly. Like just said, it's too broad. I can definitely agree. It's broad, but that's what we have right now. So is it abused?
And it's been challenged a couple times, so I don't see it getting tightened up right now.
Yeah, it has been challenged, and Maryland v. Wilson is what allows us to get the passengers out. So Maryland v. Wilson, Pennsylvania v. Mims. So again, I don't like the word abused, and I'm playing on semantics on this. I get it. I don't like the word abused. I do like the word. I do like to say that that's what the rules are right now, and cops are going to use it until they can't.
So just a minute ago, one of the chat members said in Colorado, it's 16.3.13. A peace officer may stop any person who he reasonably suspects has committed, or is about to commit a crime, may be required to give his name or address.
Okay.
But we still haven't committed, so
yeah. On this one, I still don't think that necessarily fits.
To me, being on this call, and I'm just going to give my opinion as what I did right before I retired as a supervisor. If I rolled up and I've discovered everything is just as this video showed, I'm going to tell my guys to beat feet. They can go their separate ways, and we're going to go on to the next call and become available again for calls, period.
Yeah. Tim said here in Indiana, they can pull anyone out of the car, but can only ID the driver unless one of the passengers committed a crime. Yes. And a lot of times what will happen is we'll come up to a car and the passenger's not wearing their seatbelt. there's the offense. And now we will require them to ID. And then you'll see a lot of videos where they're like, I'm the passenger, I don't got an ID. Yes, you do. You committed an offense by not wearing your seatbelt. So it's a tool that police use for things that, in most cases, okay, I'm always going to say in most cases. For me specifically, I'll just talk about me. If I'm trying to ID you as the passenger for not having your seatbelt on, it's not because I give a shit less about you having your seatbelt on. It's because I suspect you have more. There's more behind it. The car has a history of being at a dope house or has been involved in ag assault with a deadly weapon, this, that, and the other. There's more into it. It isn't just because you were speeding, we pulled you over and you didn't have your seatbelt on. I don't care about the passenger in that instance. But if I'm set up in a high crime area where which I understand that can be a generalized, there's high crime areas everywhere. No, it's really an actual provable high crime area where there's a lot of violent crime that happens. That's the shit I'm looking for. I'm looking for violent people that are a problem for the rest of y'all, that are throwing bullets out randomly and catching your family members. Those are the people I'm looking for. The ones that are stealing your shit that you worked hard for. That's the people I'm looking for. I'm not looking to make money for the city. Could give a shit less. So, with that said, let's keep going here. One of the biggest issues is cops do in many areas. They try to get folks to give their social security number, and that is so wrong. It depends. Sometimes we find out people have warrants, and the only way to confirm the warrant is by their social security number.
And we usually verify on the last four.
Yeah. And so you verify by the last four of the social, however that goes. But that information isn't going to be public information, at least not where I'm at. Even if you do a Freedom of Information Act, your social security number through the police department is never going to be exposed. So I don't necessarily think that that's wrong. Let's talk about dirtbags. Now, in some cases, it's just a dickhead move to power trip. Yeah, I've seen it. I have seen it. Constitutional Country Girl News approves. But let's keep going with the video. Where did it go? Where am I at? Here we go. I'm loving this lady.
Why? Because I wouldn't give you my name?
I tried to give you plenty of chances to talk to me, to provide a
he's the one that said
card,
it, not
and
me.
I'm not going to play these games of
I didn't say that.
Okay? So you are going to jail. There's nothing changing my mind about
I
that.
didn't say that. Serious. That's all right.
You're also going to have a no contact.
To who?
Here.
Where is this anyway? I don't know.
She doesn't even know where she's at. She was probably just wandering through.
What is this place?
Do you have a t-shirt under this?
Yeah.
Okay.
What is this place though, for real? I'm asking. You ain't gonna tell me?
I mean, I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know. I think I'm about to call.
You are correct.
No, quit. I ain't got no guns. What are you looking for?
We have to empty all your pockets.
A what?
We have to empty all your pockets by the jail
yeah,
policy.
I ain't got. That's my freaking way. You trying to get my money?
No.
Can you stop?
I have to. It's by policy. I have to.
What do you want? I ain't got no. You think I'm a terrorist? Crazy weirdo. The fuck? You all up in my. You all up in my.
I love her. She's great. TDD the Don said people mistake ordering out of the car part of MIMS with a pat down part. You can order for any reason someone out of the car, but you can't conduct a pat down without reasonable articulable suspicion of a weapon. That is 100% how I understand it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that is well articulated, sir. I appreciate that. And I agree. I think you're spot on.
You all get out. Turn your camera on.
Ma'am.
You all in my titty.
I need to.
You all in my titty.
She's awesome. I wish she was in my family. I'm not gonna lie. She would be a hoot to have during the holidays. I love her. You all up in my titties.
You're in my titty. You're in my titty.
Like, you're laughing about it. You can't even keep a straight face.
Oh well, Dad.
If I was an old lady, this is me, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Like shit that's coming out of her mouth. Like my brain was already thinking it before she said it.
Forgot about that. You so naughty.
Will you provide a breath sample to see how much you've been drinking?
Nope.
All right. Listen, she hasn't drank enough because she knows her rights. She knows what she can do, what she can't do, what she's not supposed to do. She's not self-incriminating. She has not given a single statement yet that has incriminated herself. Not a single one. Nope. He said that. He said he did this. He's the one that said all this stuff. I was just here. Like, she's smart as fuck.
Just as her conversation, she's got her faculties. I mean,
yeah.
No.
She wants someone in her titties. I love it.
I'm telling you right now, I'm not doing that. I'm going to pat down. There ain't nothing in her pockets. We'll go let a jailer empty her pockets.
Right? Yeah. Wait, you are an old lady, Eric? Hey, relax. No, I'm not an old lady. Say, man? I am old, but hey, man. Somebody said, should a female officer have been called to pat her down? Now, you got to remember, female officers make up like 10 to 20% of law enforcement. They may not even have one at this department. This could be
we didn't. We would have to take her to the jail to have that.
So a lot of times you can do what's called a pat down safety check. And oh shit, I just about clubbed my microphone.
I'd use the backside of my hands.
Yeah, you use the backside of your hands on the high risk areas, and then once you're satisfied with that, then you move on. What I would do if I didn't have a female officer available within a reasonable amount of time, then I would tell another officer, hey, can you stand back, watch me pat her down from a distance with your body cam. Mine's going to be rolling as well, but now you're getting two views. So I'm covering my ass.
And
I'll do it
in front of my car. If you can get the dash cam to be.
Yes, exactly. And I'll do it. Yeah, and do it in front of my car. So I'm getting 3 angles, babe. I'm getting as many angles as I can.
I get my lawyer. I want a lawyer.
Who's your lawyer?
I want a lawyer.
Who's your lawyer? I'll call him up.
After being placed inside the squad car, she began aggressively barking at Canine Rock.
I want a lawyer. You get that?
Is the canine?
CIA has particular skills in developing relationships. Life is all about relationships.
Hey, this guy wants a relationship. Come on, Eric.
See back there.
Back in 10 seconds.
Dog in the same fucking vehicle?
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably one of those.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, we have them. It's divided in half.
She did bark at him. I love it. It's not against the law.
Yeah, our car has a cage on both sides. It has a passenger cage, and then the dog's cage is on the other side. Yeah.
So, Bannon, you might not have heard it. I'm going to go back just a little bit because it is funny.
Rock.
I want a lawyer. You get that?
All right, have a seat back there.
Hey. Stop doing that, please.
If she was a 3-0, she wouldn't be walking.
Can you just have the county ready for me? Did they say any bonds or any?
I just ran her.
I did. I ID'd him. He said he had some videos. Can you just grab them?
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, real quick. You think the hate crime statute will fall under this?
Oh, read it.
All right. Get the fuck out of here, dude. You were digging just to put a fucking charge on her because you know you don't have shit. Bro, take her somewhere. Drop her off. Hey, ma'am, I'm going to give you a ride. I'm going to get you out of the area.
Go buy her a sandwich.
Yeah. Holy shit. Flip her perspective on cops. Like, go take her somewhere and try to get her a meal. Yeah. There's different ways to approach this. You think punitive is the way that we need to handle this.
And for a fact, and my wife can attest to this, I bark at other dogs through my Ring doorbell, so my neighbor's dogs, so they'll shut the hell up.
I would listen.
There's nothing wrong with barking at a freaking dog, man.
Yeah, it's not against the law. You can bark all the fuck you want.
Okay, so the statute for hate crime makes it a crime to use or threaten to use force to willfully interfere with a person's participation in a federally protected activity because of race, color, religion, or national origin.
So we definitely don't even fall under that. Calling somebody a racial slur doesn't fall under that.
Oh my gosh.
So, oh my God. Yeah. Eye of the night fucking nailed it. They were annoyed from the beginning. Total contempt of cop.
Yep.
Yeah. 100%. This is horse shit. Yeah. Derek Murphy barking at a dog, straight to jail right away.
Are they going to write their canine a ticket for disorderly conduct for being too loud in the neighborhood as well?
Right. Listen, if you're a cop listening to this and you're like, yeah, like if you think that what they're doing is totally the right way to handle this, like you need to relax. You need to step back. You need to listen to some of us with some experience, some perspective. This is an opportunity to get this lady out of the area and present it in a different way. Hey, ma'am, obviously you don't live here. Can't have you here. You're causing a problem. I'm getting calls. I don't want to get called back. So have you eaten? Let me take you somewhere. Do you know where the shelter's at? I can take you to the shelter. I can take you basically anywhere in the city you need to go to get away from this place that you don't even know where you're at. I'm not going to take her to the hospital because she's intoxicated. I'm not going to take her to jail and waste taxpayers' money. Because, I mean, you got to think of what you just tied up in this big picture. There's going to be a court case on this now. A prosecutor is going to have to take time to look at this case. A detective's going to have to take this and file this case. Like, this is a bunch of shit. For what? Run in your mouth. Ozark Moon said their CO needs to tell them not every call needs to end with an arrest and hours off of the streets doing reports and booking. Yeah, exactly. And now what are you doing? You're digging up a fucking charge. Talking about it. Does this meet the hate crime statute? Really? This is what we have. Zero physical violence. Nobody's lost anything. Somebody's offended. That's what we have. Somebody was offended. The fuck out here. I bet you she wants to go to the cop's house that was all up in her titties. I like the way he spelled titties too. Love it. You spelled it just like she said it.
As she persisted in communicating with Canine Rock, she started banging her head around.
Stop. Stop banging your head.
All right, man, I just got this for you. It's Rights and Resources, the victim of a crime. Sweet. Did you have videos?
I do have some videos.
Did you show him?
I didn't. No.
Okay, you just want to show me quick?
Stop.
So now we've got admitted that nobody's even seen these videos yet. Did you show these videos? No, I didn't show shit. I just said I had them. So we just arrested based on videos that we haven't even fucking looked at. Like, are you serious right now? That poor dog.
Stop banging your head.
She's trying to time up her racial comments to when my phone was put down, but...
All right, I'm going to give you one more chance to get the out of here, okay?
47. County. Starting beverages. 3-2 break.
So the video they showed wasn't even proof of anything racial. She flipped him off. Like a whiny girl.
And I put the phone down and she just made racial comments, but I would have gotten in the car, but she was making it seem like she's going to kick it or something.
Stop doing that.
Why do you say that?
Because coming from the generations, you are a disappointment in all areas of life.
Bam! Bam! Stop doing that!
Normally, I don't go this long in the video. Like, once they're under arrest, but we need to keep going. I got to see how this ends.
The whole time here. Yeah.
She's yelling. Nope. Just going, ah!
Looks like she didn't really hurt herself. She was just probably making noise.
In the end, the 55-year-old woman was only charged with misdemeanor disorderly conduct and was released 2 days later on a $1,000 signature bond.
So $100 for a bond?
Want a deeper look into the channel or craving additional content?
Oh my
Hey, Eric,
God.
with that mugshot, you got some glasses to put on? I want to do a side-by-side.
I got the ears for it. That's for sure. Oh, shit.
Get you a white beanie.
Right? That is why we do these breakdowns, guys. Like, that was, in my opinion, and again, it's not necessarily the Monday morning quarterback. We went based off of the body cam as it developed, and we were pointing out how we would investigate. And the investigation was not leading up to anything that would make us think it was worth an arrest. And showing you based on our experience, I can tell you I would have walked away from that call had not being me. I'm a sucker for conversation and weird people. But outside of that, I would have walked away from this call. There would have been, both parties went their own way, NOR. Nothing to report, basically. Alan, you got anything that you would have done different on that?
No, I think they were trying too hard, and they were looking for something. So it's one thing I'd add at the very end there, if she would have injured herself inside of the car, we don't know if she did or not, but in my agency, I get to go sit with her at the ER until that's over with. So now, because of something I could have walked away from, potentially all she's got to do when we go in the jail is she says, "Oh, I'm injured." Now I get to go sit 4 hours in the jail or at the ER with her until she's done.
Right.
So for what?
And now the argument becomes, were you the reason behind that?
Yep.
You caged them. You locked them up. You restricted their movements, their freedom. These are all things to let's talk about dirtbags. I'm so glad he decided to subscribe to us because I hope he makes more comments. He cracks me up. Snowflake complaint. I like it. My people. Oh shit.
So let's look at the fine that she paid. And this is just looking at this from big perspective, from administrative standpoint, is what did it cost the city for those officers to be there that long?
Oh, thousands of dollars. Thousands of dollars to deal with that. Gas, time, being paid by the hour. How many officers were there? Body cam video storage.
You got a canine unit tied up to get on something different.
I mean, it is just the upfront cost that you don't even consider, that people don't even think of. They just see a cop was there. Okay, cool. What was the hourly rate? Okay, you didn't even consider the court time. The detective that's going to have to look at the case. How many hours is it going to take him to fuck with it?
The dispatchers hourly from running everything, tying up T-lets, everything.
All of that for freedom of speech. Because even when they showed the video, I didn't get any hate crime shit.
Because some kid was offended by getting flipped off.
Yeah. Because he just couldn't fucking deal with this shit and walk away.
Yeah. Because she might have kicked his car.
Yeah. She was, I thought she was going to, what are we precogging this shit? Is this Minority Report? So stupid. Jesus. Guys, you wonder why we get some of the reputations we get in law enforcement. You're not helping yourselves. And I'm not down in these cops. I do truly believe, again, that it's a training thing.
In their mind, they thought that they were, and what I was thinking during this call, and I'm going to go ahead and think out loud just so people understand this, is there's a lot of departments, unfortunately, out there that have to go to city councils to ask for pay raise so they can start matching other cities and then you have people not thinking correctly in administrative positions telling their troops at shift change, if you want us to articulate a reason to city council, why are we not putting people in our jails?
Yeah.
And then you have officers that are getting lackadaisical, dropping down. Oh my God, maybe I need to try to make an arrest at each call, and I've got a family to take care of. And that's where, it starts at the top down.
Yeah, you start getting pressure to do law enforcement and create law enforcement that wasn't there.
Exactly.
Again, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And that's where we start to fall into that part. Brian said the taxpayers are paying for bad police work, opinion, and a reason for why this show matters. Wasted on trivial call, they didn't even know a reason and are caught up trying to come up with one. Yeah, and I've had instances on my own calls where you'll hear me on body cam like, what is the charge that we have on this? It's not because I'm trying to make up a charge. Sometimes I don't know the appropriate charge, or sometimes I'm trying to find a lesser charge, or I'm trying to find a greater charge based on what they did. You know, if they're truly a piece of shit, in my opinion, where they're, you know, causing a great inconvenience and significant damage to the city, I'm going to find the highest charge I can find. You shouldn't have to deal with that.
Yeah, sometimes multiple charges belong in a whole different category than, you know, giving them 3 different charges. You know, it's better to go with the one charge.
And it's the double-edged sword of police work. We're trying, like, it's great. Us as cops, we have discretion. We can find the charges that fit and we can put them on you. We can choose not to, depending on what it is. You know, we can let you go depending on, as long as it's not a felony. And department policies, like there's really cool parts about being a cop, but there's also that's the double-edged sword that makes us look like douchebags, where we're putting charges on people just because we can, and we have that ability. And then you get people that are like, this is a POP, and this cop threw the biggest charge you could find, hoping that the prosecutor will take it. And that's where the checks and balances start to come in. You hope your prosecutor's got, you know, the same vision that you have. Because sometimes you get prosecutors where you have a charge that fits 100%, and the prosecutor's like, no, I'm not going to do that because I'm going to make a political statement and get this person, you know, let them out on their own recognizance. Like, they committed a violent. I just had to let a person walk, by the way. I just had to let a person walk that had assault on a public officer. Assault PO. I had to let him walk because the jail was full.
Happens.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I was thinking. This comment, Harrison Brock, it's bad that jails have become profit centers. My jail, that I'm not dropping that person off at my jail right now because they don't have enough employees. So once we get to a certain number, they can't, you know, we have to either release somebody to accept somebody new, or don't take the Class Cs.
Yeah. Yep. Well, guys, we've been going 3.5 hours. We're about an hour and a half over what we normally do, which is fine. It's fine. Everybody's been participating. My rule is, guys, as long as we have a classroom size of people watching or bigger, so 30 people or more, hey, we'll keep having fun as long as my co-hosts and people are game. I will go as long as I have people on here. So first and foremost, please, I'm not asking for your money, although we do have merchandise finally available for the first time ever today. Like, go to Ghost Patch, check that shit out. Get a metal badge, get one of our PVC rubber patches. You definitely will be directly supporting the show and help us do what we do. But as a person that knows how hard times are and how important your money is, and you don't need to waste it on stupid cop shit like what we have, all I ask is you do 10, 15 seconds and just hit follow. Go to our YouTube, go to our TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is, Spotify, Apple. Follow us. We do a podcast. We interview people. So we actually have interviews. We do, you know, social media stuff where we just do reaction videos and reels and shorts and stuff like that. The whole point is always to get discussion going and have you guys talk to us. That's what we like. So what you guys did tonight, I know you heard a lot about my voice. I tend to host most of the stuff that we've been doing live, but the goal is so I can step back a little bit. You don't have to hear me talk nearly as much. Get Banning, get Alan, get Matt, get Daniel, get some of these other guys that we're getting under our Two Cops One Donut umbrella, and let you guys hear their voices, because I think mine gets worn out. I get tired of hearing myself. So I'm not bullshitting. I really try not to talk as much as I do. Try to step back and let Banning and Alan, whoever else is on, speak. So this is just what we got going. Looking at the comments real quick. So what you're saying is you will keep going if I have my alt accounts watch as well. Steve Wallace in the house. Steve Wallace has never missed one of our lives, by the way, guys. He's one of the few. Brian Clinkenbeard said, Eric, I've been pulled over by you merely based on the time and your suspicion. I like the chance to express how much I appreciate you being a good cop to offer this. If you find a way for me to donate so you can pay for ads not to be
interrupted on YouTube.
Yeah, interrupted on YouTube. Hell yeah, brother. That would be nice. I do need to figure that out. That needs to be where if we start making money, we don't make money, guys. So if we start making money, then that's what it will go towards. But no, appreciate everybody. Be sure that you guys check out the latest podcast that we did. I interviewed the person that owns Street Cop, Dennis, and I'm not going to butcher his last name. I can never spell it or say it correctly. I'll try. Benigno. Anyway, I interviewed the guy from Street Cop that owns it, and been a lot of controversy around him. Go check that out. Go to 2 Cops 1 Donut with the number 2, the word cops, the number 1, and donut to just listen on Spotify, Apple, all the major podcast places. And we're going to be putting out clips of that throughout the week. So pay attention for those. Hopefully it gets your interest enough to like, subscribe, follow, do all this stuff. For Eric McCants' crowd, for Matt Thornton's crowd, for Banning's crowd, appreciate all you guys joining in, partaking. Banning, you got any closing remarks, sir?
I just appreciate you all taking time away from your families to watch what we're putting on out here. We're just trying to be open, be here for y'all. If y'all have the questions, that's what we're here for. We're trying to bridge that gap between law enforcement and the community that we serve and or did serve in the past or are currently serving.
People are asking in the chat how you can message me. How can you message me? Sorry, the whiskey's kicking in. Email me at 2cops1donut, all spelled out, at yahoo.com. And I'm putting it in the chat as well.
And yes, not everybody has to do Google. Yeah. That comment was made earlier. So
to do Google?
No, you didn't do Google. That was the point.
Oh, right. Yeah. So just hit me up at 2cops1donut at yahoo.com and email me there. I try to make it easy to remember, and nobody really uses Yahoo, so that's why I wanted to do Yahoo. So yeah, email me there. Just put my name, Eric, if you're trying to get it to me, or highlight Banning, whoever you're trying to reach. But yeah, you can direct message me that way. Other than that, guys, that's all I've got. Banning, you good? Alan, you good?
Good.
All right, everybody. Appreciate your time. Thanks for tuning in, and can't wait to do the next one. We do this every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. We try to. So we're trying to make that a regular thing. Yeah, check out the badge. Hell yeah. Take it easy, guys.